Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, Lettuce Head Fanfics. Back with amazing fanfiction. This is the series of What If Deku Had Living Nightmare Quirk. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. It was a normal Friday, what you could consider normal for little Midoriya. He was behind the school again with his childhood bully, about to face yet another confrontation. "Come here, you little brat. Today's going to be a fun day for you," said Genshin, his childhood bully. What did I do this time?" questioned Midoriya. "You'll see," Genshin replied, getting closer. "All you do is pick on me without a reason. I'm so done with this," Midoriya shouted, his frustration boiling over. At that moment, his eyes changed, turning completely black with only a white dot for a pupil. "What did I ever do to you?" Midoriya continued, and Genshin stood there, shocked, slowly backing away. As Midoriya yelled, a black bear robot appeared next to him. "I'll show you what a real nightmare I can be," the robot declared, leaping at Genshin, who let out a scream that attracted other students nearby. When they arrived, they found a frightened student on the ground, crying and looking up at Midoriya, who stood over him with one eye black and leaking a mysterious oil. "Next time, don't mess with me," Midoriya said before heading home. As Midoriya entered his home, he was greeted by his mother. It was the opposite of what he had expected. "Hey Mom, I'm home." "Hey, Izuku, welcome. OMG, what happened to you?" Ms. Midoriya exclaimed, shocked at her son's appearance. Yeah, I think this is part of my quirk. I just got it a moment ago," Midoriya replied sheepishly, scratching his neck. "Quick, we need to get you to the doctor to find out," she said, and they rushed to the nearest hospital for a quirk test. As they waited for the results in the doctor's office, a striped robot with a clown face appeared in front of them. "Why hello there, little Izuku. I'm the marionette," it greeted. "What are you?" the small boy asked. "She is part of your quirk, young one," the doctor stated as he entered the room. "From the looks of it, she is one of 137. Your quirk is one of a kind and is called Living Nightmare. It depends on your emotional state who will appear. The animatronics you summon will be under your control, and you'll gain their powers. Right now, because you are your normal self, the originals come out. Your quirk is based on a video game, so if you want to know more about them, I suggest doing some research. Congratulations on getting a quirk this late." The doctor turned to leave. "And before I go, you're right, I will be permanent, and depending on your emotional state, it will leak oil or not. If you're happy, there won't be any oil. If you're sad, there will be. The same goes for anger, but you'll leak oil from both eyes." With that, the doctor left the room. "I'll explain your quirk in more detail when we're back home," the marionette said before disappearing. The Midoriyas made their way home. As Ms. Midoriya opened the door to their apartment, she was shocked to see a person in the middle of the hall, standing there and playing with a large knife. She was wearing a white bunny suit. "Oh, you're back. Well then, I'm Vanessa, but you can call me Vanny. If you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm part of Izuku's quirk," she introduced herself. "Well then, good to meet you, Vanny," little Midoriya greeted her. "It's nice meeting you, Vanny, but you're not an animatronic like the marionette," Ms. Midoriya stated. "No, I'm not. I'm Izuku's guardian outside of school. I'll protect him if he gets in trouble," Vanny explained, removing her mask to reveal long brown hair and mismatched eyes, one white and one purple. "I'm 21, so just think of me as a big sister for Izuku," she added with a genuine smile. "So, Izuku, I'll explain your quirk again. I assume the doctor gave you a quick overview," Vanny said, and little Midoriya nodded. "Okay, your quirk is called Living Nightmare, and you can summon about 142 different animatronics to help you. But keep in mind, these animatronics can be dangerous, so be careful with your commands. You can summon multiple at once, but they have a cooldown PRD. You can spawn them once and then have to wait 30 minutes for them to reappear. Once summoned, they will stay as long as you like, but if you don't wait for the cooldown, they will come out in a weaker form. Now, to the important part, all these animatronics have special abilities. For example, if you want to summon Nightmare, go ahead and try it," Vanny encouraged. "Okay, how do I summon him?" little Midoriya asked. Child, there is no need for that. A deep robotic voice said from behind Vanny. As the figure stepped into view, it stood in front of a window, illuminated by bright sunlight. Ah, what are you? Little Midoriya exclaimed, shocked by the animatronic's appearance. Sup, Nightmare, Vanny giggled. Vanessa, if it weren't for this light, I would be attacking you right now. I'm Nightmare, young one, and I'm what you consider a real nightmare, stated the black bear robot. With red and silver eyes and sharp teeth protruding from his mouth, he wore a yellow hat and bow tie. Hello, Nightmare. So if you say you are a real nightmare, does that mean you can scare people in their dreams? Little Midoriya questioned. Correct, child. You are a smart one. My powers give you the ability to teleport and enhance your body at night, Nightmare replied. But keep in mind, I'm 1 out of 18 nightmares, he added. Cool, but it's best to go to bed now. It's getting late and I have school tomorrow. With that, little Midoriya went to bed. It's Monday, and Midoriya was sitting in class, playing with his pen. He had English and was bored to death, thinking about the different animatronics he learned about over the weekend. As the lunch bell rang, he took out his bento box, unaware that someone was creeping up behind him. It was Genshin, ready for revenge. Just as Genshin was about to strike, Midoriya snapped his fingers, and Vanny jumped out of nowhere, holding her knife against Genshin's neck. Don't even try, Vanny smirked under her mask. The other students around couldn't believe what had just happened. Vanny, don't hurt him. If he annoys me, I'll let Nightmare or Ennard handle it, Midoriya said, smirking at her. Ennard and Nightmare appeared seconds later, causing the class to gasp at the sight of the black bear robot and a pile of wires with a clown mask. I heard killing, Nightmare and Ennard stated in unison. Ennard, go into the vents and stay there until the school day ends. Nightmare, keep an eye on him, and if he tries anything, do it like last time, Midoriya ordered, uncovering the eye patch he wore to reveal his eye to Genshin. Genshin took a few steps back. Hey, sis, pack the knife away. This is still a school, Vanny said, complying and joining Ennard in the vents. Midoriya sat there, eating his lunch, pretending nothing had happened. The other students stared at him, speechless, as Nightmare stood guard by Midoriya's desk. What are you guys looking at? It's lunchtime, Midoriya said calmly. We're just scared of him, a female classmate stammered, pointing at Nightmare. Akari, Nightmare might look frightening, but he is actually peaceful. Nightmare, go into plush form. Nightmare shrunk into a black teddy bear, and the class relaxed a bit, continuing with their lunch break. Some girls from the class next door approached Midoriya. Hey, Midoriya-kun, why are you wearing an eye patch? Did Genshin beat you up again? They teased. Midoriya looked up and raised an eyebrow. Last time I checked, he was the one who lost control. Oh please, as if you... Quirkless, nobody could even fight back. You are nothing, one girl stated, causing Midoriya's classmates to back up slightly. We wouldn't do that if we were you, one of them warned. But, are you scared of this loser? I bet even his parents are disappointed in him, the girl group giggled. Midoriya slowly stood up and revealed his right eye. The girls backed up a bit. You can insult me all you want, but don't even think about pulling my mom into this. Nightmare, Ennard, Vanny. Midoriya was furious. Midoriya began to secrete oil from his eye. Nightmare transformed back into his animatronic form, Ennard hung down from the ceiling, and Vanny jumped down in front of them. Midoriya stood beside Vanny, sensing her growing intensity. I'll give you one last warning. If you mess with me again, you'll meet the rest of my animatronics, Midoriya warned, his anger palpable. The girls stood in silence, but one of them grew cocky again. Oh, you don't scare me. They are probably She was cut off as Ennard grabbed her by the waist and pulled her close. If you hurt young, I will make you regret it, Ennard threatened, opening his face to reveal his endoskeleton. I will not hurt him, I promise, the girl struggled, trying to escape his grip. Ennard let her go. The next lesson is about to start, and I am not in the mood for trouble, Midoriya ordered. Ennard released her, and she fell to the ground, shocked by Midoriya's statement. If I catch you harassing Izuku again, I will make sure you regret it, Vanny threatened, holding her knife to the girl's chin. Her friends quickly grabbed her and made a run for it. Lolbit catch them. Vanny commanded. A white, purple and orange fox-like animatronic appeared in front of the door, blocking their escape. Ha! I bet you weren't expecting me now, were you? Lolbit giggled, glitching slightly. Now, who said you girls could leave? I'm not done with you. This is going to be fun, Vanny said, her intensity growing as she neared the group of girls while playing with her knife. Midoriya-kun, do something, the girls pleaded. Hey, sis, stand down and Lolbit, let them go. Keep in mind, girls, my nightmares are always watching. The other animatronics glitched behind Midoriya to reveal themselves. Midoriya's eyes turned black, and he continued to secrete oil. The girls left as fast as they could. Ha, yeah, good ha, Lolbit giggled and disappeared. Just then, the teacher entered and was shocked to see a robot standing in the middle of the classroom and another hanging from the ceiling, especially Vanny, who was standing there holding her knife. What is going on here? The teacher questioned. Huh, looks like we have the next troublemaker, Midoriya said out loud as he sat down. The teacher approached Midoriya. Listen here, you shouldn't even be allowed to be here, he said, trying to grab Midoriya by the collar. That was a big mistake. Mangle! Midoriya shouted. A broken and twisted robot appeared, hanging beside Ennard. Both Ennard and Mangle waited for Midoriya to give them an order. The teacher slowly retracted his hand. Now, Mr. Katashi, if I were you, I would start teaching or my animatronics will give you a little push. And you surely don't want him to take part in that, Midoriya smirked, pointing at Nightmare. Mr. Katashi tried to back up but felt something sharp on his back. Vanny was standing behind him, her knife just barely poking him. Oh, I almost forgot. One false move and she will finish the job. The class was now genuinely scared of Midoriya. It was the last day of middle school, and Midoriya was relieved to be leaving. He was waiting for the teacher to start the last lesson of the day, playing with a couple of mini-arenas. A few minutes later, the teacher came in and sat a pile of papers on his desk. Okay class, this is your last day of middle school, and I have your papers for your future. Who am I kidding? You all want to be heroes, yelled the teacher, throwing the papers in the air. The whole class erupted into chaos, except for Midoriya, who continued playing with the mini-arenas. Hey Midoriya, the teacher's already here, you know, the student beside him nudged him. Oh yeah, thanks, Kirima, Midoriya replied. As I see here, most of you want to go to a university, except for Midoriya, he wants to go to UA, the teacher pointed out. Him and UA? He can't even defend himself against a measly punch, laughed Genshin. Midoriya stood up, taking off his eye patch. Mangle, come here, he called. Mangle hung from the ceiling and looked at Midoriya, causing Genshin's eyes to widen. Mangle made her way above Genshin. Don't be afraid, soon you will look just like me, appealing, Mangle stated, nearing Genshin's face. Now Mangle, I'm the one who will do the hurting this time, Midoriya said, his eyes darkening. He approached Genshin and punched him across the face, sending him crashing into the cupboard behind him. My quirk isn't just about summoning animatronics, they lend me their powers too. Midoriya leaned over Genshin, oil dripping from his eyes. Midoriya, that's enough, the teacher called out. Midoriya returned to his desk, and Mangle hung above him. And could you make your, animatronic leave, please? Mangle, go into the vents and come out when school ends. Mangle went into the ceiling and poked her head out. The school day continued normally, and Midoriya was happy it was finally coming to an end. The teacher was still talking in the last few minutes, but Midoriya was impatient and decided to speed things up. Lolbit, Midoriya said. The glitching animatronic appeared in front of the teacher. Ha, feels bad and hoo-ha-ha. Midoriya, what are you doing? The teacher asked. Oh, nothing. I'm getting Mangle down. Lolbit, would you please? Midoriya ordered. Lolbit teleported Mangle down, giggling and suching genders. Lolbit, what are you doing? Mangle questioned. I ordered Lolbit to get you down. Now teleport home and help Vanny. I'll catch up with you shortly, Midoriya instructed, and both disappeared. Just then the bell rang. Midoriya packed up his stuff and teleported out of the classroom, ending up at the school gates. He made his way home, passing by a bridge, unaware that something was hiding there. I have 10 months until the entrance exam to UA. I gotta start training myself. I can't rely on my quirk that much, Midoriya mumbled to himself. Hey kid, you can give your dreams up. A slime monster dropped down in front of him and began attacking. Midoriya dodged the incoming attacks. He snapped his fingers, and Nightmare emerged from his backpack, transforming from plush form into animatronic. The slime monster backed up a bit. What's wrong? Did you lose your nerve? Nightmare and Midoriya questioned. Before the slime could react, Nightmare lunged at it, biting down into the side of its body. The slime villain screamed in agony. Don't worry, why? Because I am here. All Might flew down, shocked at the scene before him. Nightmare, that's enough. Nightmare backed up and returned to plush form. Midoriya walked up, picked him up, and put him back into his backpack. Please, no more, the slime begged. Oh, I'm not going to do anything, Midoriya said, standing over the injured villain, oil seeping from his right eye. Go on ahead, All Might, he's all yours. Midoriya passed him and continued on his way home. Before All Might could speak, Midoriya was already gone. Who is this kid? All Might questioned himself as he picked up the slime villain and made his way to the nearest police station. Midoriya was walking down the streets, minding his own business and thinking of a training plan to prepare himself for UA. He was pulled from his thoughts by the sound of an explosion nearby. He hurried toward the source of the noise. The press and pro-heroes were already there, battling the flames and hesitating to confront the villain. I can't attack him, my wood would catch fire, called out Kamui Woods. I can't attack, the alleyway is too small for me, stressed Mount Lady. Midoriya face-palmed. It was the slime villain again, and he had a hostage. Help me. Midoriya looked closely at the boy who was begging for help. It was an ash-blonde boy, struggling to escape and setting off explosions in his attempts. Midoriya couldn't stand by and watch helplessly. He took off running. Hey kid, what are you doing? This is dangerous, shouted Death Arms. I'm doing your job. Midoriya hissed back. He stopped a few meters in front of the villain. Ennard, Mangle, Molten. Midoriya summoned them, and the three animatronics crawled along the walls, rushing the slime villain and pulling him away from the kid. Ennard grabbed the boy and crawled out of reach of the villain. Nightmares Goldie, Foxy, and Chica. The three nightmares appeared behind him, and the crowd watched in fear and silence. Bite, was the order Midoriya gave, and all three of them bit down on the villain, leaving him screaming in pain. That's enough. All six animatronics returned to Midoriya, and Ennard let the boy down. Hey kid, what you did was reckless. Kamui Woods tried to scold him. That agitated the animatronics. Midoriya turned around to face him. Ennard's and Molten's wires reached out and pulled Kamui down in front of Midoriya. Listen here, you need to understand, a 15-year-old just did your job because you three wannabe heroes didn't have the guts to do it. A hero should risk their life to protect those who can't protect themselves. If you can't even do that, then you have no right to scold me. I saved that kid. Midoriya shouted. The press was silently recording the scene. Midoriya walked past the heroes, leaving the animatronics behind. You are pathetic, the nightmares pointed out. We are not just numbers, you can't handle us. Ennard pulled Kamui in front of his face, opening his mouth wide. That's enough. Let's go home, Midoriya ordered. The animatronics disappeared, leaving a speechless crowd behind. It was a Wednesday afternoon, and Midoriya was returning from his training. He was already 3 months into his preparations for UA. Midoriya was at Takoba Municipal Beach Park and attracted many stares as people walked by. Hey, Nightmare, bend down, Midoriya ordered. Nightmare kneeled to match Midoriya's height. He climbed onto the animatronic's shoulders. Let's go to a nearby cafe. I'm feeling peckish, Midoriya stated as Nightmare made his way to the next cafe. Little did he know, a certain blonde was watching him. As Nightmare walked down the street, many people looked on in fear. Midoriya chuckled at the sight. Hey kid, stop right there, a hero called, halting Nightmare. The hero felt more than horror at the sight of the black robotic bear. What's wrong, sir? the green-haired boy asked. The hero regained his composure. Using your quirk in public is illegal. Either you make sure this thing is gone, or I'm going to have to arrest you, the hero stated. Nightmare became agitated at being called a thing. Midoriya climbed down from his animatronic. Well, sir, you may think this is my quirk, but you're wrong. I built this robot, Midoriya pointed out. Nightmare, plush form, he ordered. The hero was speechless as he watched the 6.8-foot robot transform into a black plush teddy bear. Midoriya picked him up and placed him into his backpack. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm hungry and craving katsudon, Midoriya said before continuing on his way. As he walked through the city, he did a little window shopping while searching for a cafe or katsudon shop. When he came across a little girl crying, he couldn't help but approach her. Hey little one, what's wrong? He asked. I lost my mommy, the girl said through her tears. Midoriya looked around. Do you know your mother's phone number or have any clue where she might be? He asked, kneeling down to her level. The girl shook her head. I can't leave her here alone, Midoriya thought. How about this? I'll help you search for your mom, he smiled. The girl nodded and took his hand. Midoriya and the little girl searched the area, asking people if they had seen her mother. After a while, Midoriya checked his phone and saw that it was already 2 p.m. That's when he spotted a distressed woman questioning passers-by. Excusing himself, he approached her with the little girl on his shoulders. Excuse me, ma'am, are you looking for your daughter? He asked from behind. As the woman turned around, tears of relief filled her eyes. Mommy! Midoriya let the little girl down, and she ran to her mother, who embraced her in a heartwarming hug. Thank you for finding my daughter, the mother said gratefully. Before Midoriya took his leave, he summoned Lolbit. The mother and daughter took a few steps back. No need to be scared, Midoriya smiled. Lolbit, make a plush copy of yourself, he ordered. The glitching animatronic giggled and summoned a plush version of itself before disappearing again. Midoriya approached the little girl. Hey, this is for you. Her name is Lolbit, he said, smiling as he handed her the plush. As Midoriya continued down the street, his gaze was caught by a girl with black hair and onyx eyes. She looked mature for her age and was walking with her younger brother, who was pulling her along. As they attempted to cross the street, the boy tripped. The girl, distracted by her brother, didn't notice the speeding car approaching. Without hesitation, Midoriya summoned his animatronics, ripping off his eye patch. Entered, Lolbit. Both animatronics appeared, causing the onlookers to gasp at the sudden appearance. The car came closer. Entered, retract. Lolbit, teleport me in front of them. Midoriya commanded. Enerd's wires reached for the children, while Lolbit teleported Midoriya in front of them, pulling out Nightmare. Nightmare, grow! Midoriya shouted. Enerd pulled the two kids to safety on the sidewalk as Nightmare transformed into his animatronic form. The crowd watched in shock as the events unfolded. The speeding car, however, didn't slow down. Nightmare let out a shriek as the building overshadowed him and Midoriya. Standing beside Nightmare, Midoriya took a stance. As the car neared, both he and Nightmare struck down on it, causing it to flip over them. The crowd gasped at the display of power. Springtrap Freddy and Nightmare Freddy. Midoriya summoned, and they positioned themselves to catch the car. Shortly after, police cars and pro-heroes surrounded Midoriya and Nightmare. But Midoriya ignored them and walked over to the girl and her brother. Enerd, let them go and help with the car, he ordered. Lolbit, stay with them and make sure they're not hurt. With that, Midoriya approached the car that his animatronics had caught. You again, a familiar voice said, stopping him in his tracks. The animatronics sensed Midoriya's tension and became agitated, releasing the car and moving closer to him. The police officers rushed to the vehicle shortly after. The crowd watched anxiously as Midoriya turned to Kamui Woods, his right eye beginning to secrete oil while the animatronics prepared to defend him. So what do you want now? Midoriya asked, raising his fist to signal the animatronics to stay down. You know we're stronger than you measly heroes, Nightmare Freddy declared. I'm carving for blood, Springtrap added. Now, we wouldn't want to scare them, would we? It would be better to make him part of the family, Marionette suggested. Stay down, Midoriya ordered. I stopped the police chase, so give me some slack. Plus, I saved the daughter and son of the Yayorozu family. He turned to them. Hey, you guys good? Yeah, thank you for rescuing us, the girl replied. I'm Izuku Midoriya, and you? He smiled. I'm Momo Yayorozu, and this is my brother, Natsu Yayorozu. Momo introduced herself. Hey, I'm still not done with you, Kamui Wood said, trying to wrap his branches around Midoriya. Midoriya snapped his fingers. Don't even try, Vanny said, holding a knife up to his neck. She wasn't wearing her bunny suit, just her mask. Ennard came up behind Midoriya and began to wrap his wires around Kamui. I thought you at least learned from last time, Ennard said, pulling the wood user closer to the animatronics. Ha, get good. Lolbit giggled. That's enough, let him go. Nightmares, Ennard, and Lolbit turn into plushies. The rest disappear, Midoriya commanded, walking over to pick up the plushies. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to get something to eat. With that, Midoriya headed into the store next to them, leaving the crowd and heroes speechless. I wonder if we will meet again, Momo thought to herself. It was the day of the UA entrance exam, and Midoriya stood in front of the school gates with Vanny. Okay, Izuku, I'll be watching from the sidelines, but you know I'm still part of your quirk, so technically speaking, I'm allowed to go with you, Vanny said. Fine, just don't make a scene, Midoriya replied, making his way to the auditorium with Vanny following closely behind. As he walked through the school grounds, he received many curious looks. Nearing the front door, Midoriya saw a short girl with brown hair trip and start to fall. Lolbit. Lolbit caught the girl. Haha, I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh at your stupidity haha. Lolbit laughed. The girl looked somewhat frightened at the sight of the animatronic. Hey, sorry for using my quirk on you and for the rude comment. Lolbit, you can let her down now, Midoriya ordered, apologizing. I'm Izuku Midoriya, how about you? He asked, extending his hand. Ochako Uraraka, the girl stuttered, shaking his hand. Nice to meet you, wish you luck, Midoriya said. Let's go you two or we'll be late. Midoriya, Vanny, and Lolbit made their way to the auditorium. As Midoriya went to his seat, Vanny floated behind him and was led back, while Lolbit transformed into plush form. Present Mike entered and began his presentation. Midoriya closed his eyes after a few minutes and leaned back, but was jolted from his trance when a student 2 seats to his left interrupted the pro hero. Excuse me, but in your guide, it says there are 4 robots, and you only mentioned 3 of them. The one with the eye patch and the one with the bunny mask. If you're just sleeping here, then you could also just leave. A blue-haired student with glasses pointed out. This agitated Nightmare and Lolbit, who climbed out of Midoriya's backpack and transformed into their animatronic forms. Vanny stood up and began to play with her knife, causing the surrounding students to quickly move aside. Who said I was sleeping? Just because my eyes are shut doesn't mean I'm sleeping. And before you rudely interrupted, Mike would have explained that this bot is worth 0 points, Midoriya pointed out. Hey, don't blame me. Why didn't stand by when I asked you to politely? You want to have a fright, child? I'm out for blood. Lolbit exclaimed, with Nightmare and Vanny ready to defend their friend. Midoriya took off his eye patch, revealing a stream of oil. If I were you, I would sit back down before my animatronics start acting up, Midoriya warned as he approached the boy. Okay, you two calm down and start heading to the different facilities you are assigned to, Present Mike intervened, calming the situation. Midoriya, Vanny, Nightmare, and Lolbit made their way to Training Ground B. As they stood in front of the starting gates, Midoriya spotted Uraraka, who was hyperventilating. He walked up to her but was stopped midway by the glasses-wearing student again. Don't distract her, the boy told him. Leave me alone, Midoriya replied, brushing his hand away as he approached Uraraka. Hey, Uraraka, breathe slowly and calm down. Everything is going to be okay, he reassured her. She slowly calmed down, thanking him. Midoriya summoned Ennard, allowing him to transform into a plushie. Here, take him. If something happens, he will protect you, Midoriya said as he handed Ennard to her before returning to the others. Shortly after, the starting horn went off, and Midoriya, Nightmare, and Vanny rushed in while Lolbit teleported around the area. As they encountered the first few robots, Nightmare went on a rampage with Midoriya right behind him. Vanny took down the bots with her knife, and Lolbit glitched into them, pulling them apart from the inside. The other participants did the same. The pro heroes watched from a separate room, observing closely. This year's participants have really interesting quirks, All Might noted. I agree. Some fight tactically, ectoplasm added, pointing at one group, while others are really strong and fight for themselves, he said, indicating another. That kid, Aizawa said, pointing at Midoriya, the one with the black robot, what's his name in quirk? His name is Izuku Midoriya, age 16, and his quirk is called Living Nightmare, Netsu explained. He can summon 143 different animatronics, each with unique abilities. The girl with the bunny mask is called Vanessa, or Vanny for short, and acts as his protector. The downside is that once summoned, the animatronics have a 30-minute cooldown after they disappear. Right now, he has summoned Lolbit and Nightmare. Lolbit can teleport and glitch, while Nightmare can enter someone's mind, has enhanced strength and night vision, and gains additional strength in dark places or at night. After a while, Midoriya stopped and called Vanny and Lolbit to him. I think I might have enough points, so there's no need to continue. Let's give the other participants a chance, he suggested as he climbed onto Nightmare's shoulders. Lolbit teleported them to the top of the highest building, where they watched the other participants fighting the robots. I think that's our cue to let the 0-pointers out, Netsu said, pressing a button. A huge rumble followed, and shortly after, the 0-pointer appeared. The participants who saw it began to flee. Midoriya and Vanny chuckled at the sight. Below, Uraraka was too slow to avoid the falling debris. Just as she thought she would be crushed, Ennard emerged from his plush form and pulled her out of the way, using his wires to lift her and climb along the building's window tiles to reach the other participants. As Ennard dropped down in front of them, Nightmare teleported in front of him. Midoriya jumped down from Nightmare and pulled off his eye patch, walking slowly toward the 0-pointer with Nightmare, Lolbit, and Ennard following behind. Vanny stayed by Uraraka's side. Nightmares, Fun Times, Originals, Scraps. Midoriya summoned, causing 26 different animatronics to appear. The other participants took a few steps back in shock. The teachers above couldn't believe their eyes. Ennard, Mangle, Molten, Balor, Minirinus crawl up. Lolbit, teleport Balloon Boy up. Scraptrap and Scrap Baby, take out the right leg with the Nightmares. Midoriya commanded. The animatronics obeyed, and Midoriya teleported up to the face of the 0-pointer, smashing his fist down. The face was obliterated on impact. As Midoriya teleported back, the rest of the animatronics were dismantling the 0-pointer. Once they finished, they made their way back to Midoriya. A few minutes later, the test ended, and the pro heroes descended to treat the injured. All the animatronics disappeared except for Nightmare and Ennard. Midoriya walked up to Uraraka and Vanny. Hey, you good? Midoriya asked her. Why? But what was that you just pulled off? Uraraka wondered. That was my quirk. I can summon different animatronics to help me. Well, I gotta go. Wish you luck, and see you at UA, Midoriya said as he took his leave. It was Tuesday, and Midoriya was waiting for the confirmation letter from UA. 2 weeks had passed since he first attended the entrance exam. I'm going for a walk. Midoriya shouted through the apartment to inform his mother. Okay, just don't be so late back, she replied. Midoriya made his way onto the streets. After a few minutes, he felt too lazy to walk and summoned Funtime Freddy, who climbed onto his shoulder as they ventured into the city. As they walked through the crowds, Midoriya spotted an ice cream shop and instructed Freddy to head that way. Upon arrival, the shop owner looked frightened. Hey, no need to be scared, he's friendly if you're friendly to him, Midoriya reassured, climbing down from Freddy's shoulders. You're the kid who stopped that police chase 6 months ago and saved 2 children, aren't you? The man questioned. Oh yeah, that was me, Midoriya smiled back. Can I have 3 scoops of chocolate? So, kid, how many of them do you have? the man asked as he prepared Midoriya's ice cream. Oh, I can summon up to 143 different animatronics. Some look more normal like him, Midoriya said, pointing at Freddy. Or some can look quite scary, he explained. Here, kid, this one's on the house, the shop owner smiled. Oh no, I can't allow that. Let me pay for it, it's the right thing to do. Even though I did save someone, I insist on paying, Midoriya said, placing the money on the counter. Before the man could protest, Midoriya was back on Funtime Freddy's shoulders and walking off. As time went on, Midoriya suddenly stopped. Hey, excuse me, he heard someone call. He looked down to see a little boy with black hair and light blue eyes. Midoriya climbed down and knelt in front of him. Hey kid, what's up? Midoriya smiled at him. Then he realized who this kid was. It was Natsu Yayorozu, the son of the Yayorozu Corp. Hey, you're the one I saved a few months back, right? Natsu Yayorozu? Midoriya asked. The boy nodded. So what are you doing here all alone? Midoriya inquired. We couldn't thank you properly last time, and when I saw the robot bear and you on his shoulders, I ran in your direction, Natsu explained. Natsu, there you are. Don't go running off like that, a girl shouted from afar. Nayan, I found the guy that saved us. Natsu pointed at Midoriya as Momo entered the scene. Why did you run off? I was worried, you know, our bodyguards can't keep up with you, Momo scolded her brother. Midoriya watched in amusement. He just wanted to thank me properly for last time, Midoriya chimed in. Oh my god, you're the kid that saved us. Momo exclaimed excitedly. Shortly after, their parents arrived. Momo and Natsu Yayorozu, what gave you two the idea to storm off like that? Mr. Yayorozu scolded them. Dad, he is the kid I was talking about. Natsu pointed at Midoriya. Mr. and Mrs. Yayorozu looked over at Midoriya, who was climbing back onto Funtime Freddy's shoulders. It was nice to see you two again. I wish I could talk more, but I'm a bit hungry, and Freddy here needs an oil change, Midoriya said, trying to excuse himself. Young man, please stay. You are the one who saved our children. You're quite popular. We saw you on the news a couple of times, and we would like to invite you to lunch, Mr. Yayorozu stated. Do I have a choice, Mr. Yayorozu? Midoriya asked with a small smile. Mr. Yayorozu shook his head. Okay then, I guess I have no choice. Freddy, turn into a plush, Midoriya instructed. Freddy transformed into his plush form, and Midoriya teleported safely down, catching Freddy. Midoriya followed the Yayorozu to a fancy restaurant. Once seated, Mr. Yayorozu began to question Midoriya. So, kid, what's your name? Izuku Midoriya, 16 years old. Quirk, living nightmare, Midoriya answered. Giving full details right from the beginning. I like that. So what does your quirk do? Before Midoriya could answer, Vanny popped up. Aizu, get ready. This place is about to get robbed, Vanny stated. The Yayorozu looked shocked by her statement. Midoriya pulled off his eye patch, revealing his oil-leaking eye. Why don't I just show you what my quirk can do, Mr. Yayorozu? Just do what they say at the beginning. This is going to be fun. Oh, and Vanny, I got this, Midoriya smirked. Then a couple of armed men stormed the restaurant, aiming at the patrons. On the floor, and no one gets hurt, one of them shouted, and everyone complied. Midoriya mumbled something to himself, the Yayorozu looking at him in confusion. As everyone was on the floor and the robbers slowly walked through the place, Midoriya casually stood up. Hey kid, do you have a death wish? The man shouted at him. Ha, oh man, you really think I'm scared of some measly bullets? Midoriya started to look away, but then brought his gaze back to the man aiming at him, both eyes glistening with determination. I will show you what fear is, I'll show you what a real nightmare is. Suddenly, the lights in the restaurant went out, and a loud thud echoed through the air, accompanied by gears grinding and the unsettling chuckle of Nightmare Balloon Boy. After a few moments of silence, screams erupted, and the lights flickered back on. That's when the robber aiming at Midoriya noticed them, 10 nightmare animatronics standing behind him, 3 of them holding the other robbers. The Yayorozu looked somewhat frightened at the sight of the animatronics. What's wrong? Never saw a nightmare. Midoriya stated confidently. Goldie and Nightmare lunged at the man. The other customers were shocked that a 16-year-old had stopped a robbery. Enough, don't kill him, Midoriya ordered. Does someone have a rope or something? He questioned aloud. Here, I got one, Momo said as she created a rope. Thanks, Midoriya replied, tying up the 4 robbers. The people around slowly got up, still wary of the animatronics. Midoriya noticed their apprehension. Hey guys, don't be scared. My animatronics won't do anything without my command, you can relax, he reassured them as all 9 animatronics vanished. Nightmare transformed into his plush form. One of the waiters approached Midoriya, thanking him for defusing the situation. Well, Midoriya, I must say your quirk is quite the sight, Ms. Yayorozu complimented. Thank you, but what you saw today is only a small fraction of what I have in store. You just saw 11 of my animatronics. I can summon 143. Different ones with my quirk, Midoriya explained. Well, Mr. Midoriya, I must say you have quite the unique quirk. You don't see a robot-wielding teen every day. But may I ask, why do you call them animatronics? Ms. Yayorozu inquired. I call them animatronics because they are all some kind of animal. Like Funtime Freddy, he said, demonstrating as he grew to his animatronic size. He's a bear, and since they're robots, they're called animal robotics or animatronics, Midoriya clarified. That makes sense. And the girl, who was that? I'm Vanessa, but you can call me Vanny, sir. I'm also part of Izuku's quirk, but mostly I act like his big sister, Vanny introduced herself. Quite interesting. So, last question, what's with the eye and what are your setbacks? My eye manifested as I became my quirk. This is permanent, hence the eye patch. The setbacks of my quirk are simple but brutal. Every time they disappear, I have a 30-minute cooldown, and if I don't keep them under control, my robots can become dangerous. Midoriya's voice turned serious. Mr. Yayorozu took a keen interest in him. Okay, this is the last time I'm letting you go, kid. Now you're under arrest for illegal quirk usage in public. Kamui Woods arrived, making his way toward Midoriya. Midoriya rolled his eyes. Hey, Kamui Woods, your weakness is fire, right? Midoriya questioned him. Yes, why? The hero replied. Heatwave Springtrap, Midoriya called out. A burning animatronic appeared in front of them. If I were you, I'd back off, or I'll make sure he makes you, Midoriya threatened. Kamui Woods backed off, and Mr. Yayorozu placed a hand on his shoulder. Mr. Midoriya, I would like to thank you for saving not only us Yayorozu, but I think I speak for the people when I say you would make a fine hero, he complimented. Midoriya smiled back. As the day ended, the Yayorozu dropped Midoriya off at his apartment. Upon entering his home, Midoriya was greeted by his mother. Izuku, your letter is here, and I'm so proud of you for saving so many people today, she exclaimed. Midoriya opened his letter in front of her. Hello, young one. I would like to congratulate you on gaining the new UA top high score with a stunning 240 points, beating me by 40 extra points. You will be this year's first-year class representative. I welcome you to your hero academia, young Midoriya, All Might stated. This made Midoriya ecstatic as he cheered, thrilled to have made it into UA. It was Monday, and Midoriya had his first day at UA. He was extremely excited that his dream had come true. As he made his way to the kitchen for breakfast, he was suddenly surprised by Vanny. For the love of God, Vanessa! Midoriya shouted. Hey, Izuku, you don't mind if I take part in your lessons, do you? Vanny asked eagerly. For the last time, no, I don't mind, Midoriya replied, getting himself a bowl of cereal. Checking his phone, he saw he still had an hour and a half before school started. Normally I'd take the train, but I could show off if Lolbit teleports me there, he thought. If you think teleporting will give you more time to sleep, keep in mind you should be at least 15 minutes early, his mother said, appearing behind him. Vanessa, honey, should I make you a bento box for school since you'll be going with Izuku? She asked. That would be nice, Mom, Vanny smiled. After Midoriya's quirk developed, Vanny and Inko had grown close, and now they were inseparable. Midoriya was sitting on the couch, scrolling through Instagram. As time passed, he realized he still had about half an hour left to get to school. Izuku, hurry up or we'll be late, Vanny urged, dragging him toward the door. Midoriya sighed and got himself ready. He summoned Lolbit. Lolbit, teleport us to UA, Midoriya ordered. As the three of them arrived at the front gates of his new school, many students gave him frightened looks because of Lolbit. Ah, feels bad man, hoo-hoo-ah, Lolbit giggled. Let's go find the classroom, Midoriya pointed out, and Vanny and Lolbit followed him. As Midoriya walked through the school, most students tried to keep their distance from him, while Lolbit teleported all over the place, playfully bothering the other students. Vanny floated closely beside Midoriya. Lolbit, stop bothering the other students, Midoriya ordered as he arrived at the front of his classroom. When he opened the door, he was greeted by a variety of students, some relaxed, some more reserved, and then there was a blonde electric user who startled him. Midoriya didn't say a word as he entered and took his seat, but everything went quiet when Lolbit and Vanny entered. The class just stared at them. Hey Midoriya! Uraraka shouted as she recognized Lolbit, breaking the tension in the room. Hey Uraraka, you made it, Midoriya smiled at her. Lolbit stood in front of Midoriya's desk, glitching and changing forms. Vanny floated above them. Hey, I'm Tenya Ida. I wanted to AP. Save it, the blue-haired boy was cut off by Midoriya. Before you apologize, maybe you should relax a bit. Midoriya's tone was sharp, surprising even himself. What he didn't realize was that Momo was in his class. Vanny and Lolbit noticed her, but Midoriya didn't. She slowly crept up behind him and gently pulled his ear. Ah, what the heck? Midoriya exclaimed. Now, Izuku, that's not how you treat your classmates, Yayorozu lectured him. Momo? Midoriya was surprised to see her. After the restaurant incident, the two had slowly grown closer. Now accept the apology he was trying to give you, Momo insisted. Midoriya relented. Sorry, I'm Izuku Midoriya. There's always room for a second chance, he said, extending his hand. Ida shook it. Hey Momo, Vanny greeted. Hey Vanny, Momo smiled back. Now, Izuku, make sure Lolbit is in its plush form, or you're going to continue to scare the other students, she pointed out, releasing his ear. Lolbit, you heard her, Midoriya sighed. Lolbit transformed into a plush fox. If I were you guys, I'd sit back down. It looks like the teacher is about to come in, Vanny pointed out. Momo and Uraraka made their way back to their seats, while the rest of the class remained skeptical about Vanny's intuition. Well then, good to see some people are mature enough, said Aizawa as he entered the room. Vanny, you have good instincts, I'll give you that. Anyway, I'm your homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa. Put this on and meet me outside at the training ground, he instructed. All the students headed to the changing rooms. As Midoriya entered, he received curious looks from the other boys. Why are you looking at me like that? He questioned. It's because she is here, a redhead pointed at Vanny. Vanessa disappeared or something. You get the memo, the green-haired student said as he put on his training shirt and left, leaving the others wondering how Midoriya could change casually in front of a girl. When Midoriya reached the training area, he was the first one out. Hey kid, you're fast, I like that. But why are you holding a plushie? Aizawa asked. It's part of my quirk, and don't even think about trying to erase my quirk, eraser head. That won't work on me, Midoriya pointed out. How did you know who I was? Easy, I look up to you. You're a hero who doesn't care about fame or money, you just want your peace and quiet like me, Midoriya smiled at him. After a few minutes, the rest of the students arrived at the training ground. Okay, so we are doing a fitness test. You all know what it is, but the only difference is that you are allowed to use your quirks, Aizawa began. But sir, don't we have the welcome ceremony? Uraraka interjected. UA is known for letting their teachers teach freely. Midoriya, catch. Aizawa threw a ball to Midoriya. How far did you throw in middle school? He asked. I actually don't know. Vanny, do you remember? Midoriya turned to Vanny, who was leaning back, floating beside him. If I remember correctly, it was about 150 meters, she pointed out. 150? The class exclaimed. Kid, you cheated, Aizawa smirked. One of your animatronics was in its plush form, wasn't it? You're good? Yeah, I cheated. Without the strength boost, I would have thrown about 76 meters on a good throw. But since I'm allowed to use my quirk, Nightmare, Funtime Freddy, Goldie, Ennard, Midoriya summoned. The 5 animatronics appeared in front of them, causing the class to step back, while Momo, Uraraka, and Aizawa remained unfazed. Hey, Ennard, Uraraka greeted as she approached him. Hello. It's been long since I last saw you, Ennard replied, kneeling down to her. Hi, Freddy, Bon, Momo greeted, mirroring Uraraka's approach. Bon, let's not keep our friend waiting, Freddy exclaimed, picking Momo up and placing her on his shoulders. The rest of the class looked dumbfounded at the interaction between the 2 girls and the animatronics. Okay, Midoriya, stand in the circle and throw the ball as far as you can. But I have to ask, why summon so many? Aizawa inquired. Easy, all 5 of them give me a strength boost, so the more I summon, the stronger I get. The strength boost multiplies every time, giving me 16 times more power, Midoriya explained as he approached the circle. He removed his eye patch and took a stance. His right eye began to secrete oil as he aimed carefully. He waited for the right moment and threw the ball, generating a triple sonic boom. What the hell? One student exclaimed. I'm impressed, Aizawa remarked, showing the students the dial. You're strong, kid, I'll give you that, but you rely too much on your animatronics. I second that, Vanny chimed in. Most of the time, he handles things without them because they can be dangerous when summoned at night. During the day, they aren't much help. Goldie, Nightmare, disappear. Do you girls still want to play with Freddy and Ennard? Midoriya asked. They both nodded. After the fitness test ended, they were released for lunch. As Midoriya walked down the hallway, he noticed frightened looks from others as Funtime Freddy and Ennard followed closely behind him. Momo was carried by Freddy while Uraraka rode on Ennard's back as he climbed along the ceiling. When they reached a free table and settled in, Ennard and Freddy transformed into their plush forms to save space. After a while, the rest of the class joined them. While they were introducing themselves, a blonde student accidentally hit Momo on the back of her head. This angered Midoriya. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there, the boy said cockily. If you don't apologize properly right now, I'll make sure you're the next organ donor for my Funtime animatronics, Midoriya warned, pulling off his eye patch as both eyes leaked oil, and the rest of the Funtime characters appeared. Ennard and Funtime Freddy transformed into their animatronic forms, while Foxy, Ballora, and Baby shifted into aggressive modes alongside them. I am sorry, the boy stammered, dropping to the ground and trying to crawl away, but he was caught by Ennard's wires. Izuku, that's enough, Momo called out. I'm all right, she added with a small smile. Stand down, Midoriya ordered the Funtimes. He approached the blonde, grabbed him by the collar, and punched him in the face. With that, lunch ended, and the other students noted not to mess with the green-haired boy. The rest of the day was filled with regular classes like math and English. As the school day ended, Midoriya was on his way to the front gates. Hey, Izuku, wait up. Momo rushed to catch up with him. Midoriya paused for her. Want me to give you a lift back home? She asked happily. Sure, I don't mind, Midoriya replied, giving her a warm smile. Midoriya was in his second PRD of the day. He and Vanny floated side by side above the rest of Class 1A. When Aizawa entered, he raised an eyebrow. Midoriya, what are you doing? He questioned. Just chilling, Midoriya responded. Okay class, we'll start today with your first day of hero training. Aizawa began. I'm coming through the door like a normal person. All Might burst in, causing the class to cheer at his arrival. If you consider that normal, then I'm clinically insane, Midoriya stated, sounding bored. Vanny and Aizawa chuckled at his comment, while All Might's sweat dropped. Okay young ones, let's head to ground beta, but a hero can't be a hero without a hero costume. All Might announced, pressing a button that opened a wall on the right side of the classroom. All the cases have your seat numbers on them, so finding your case should be easy, Aizawa added. The students grabbed their cases and made their way to the changing rooms. As Midoriya changed into his costume, it resembled a uniform more than a traditional hero suit. He wore a customized night guard uniform in black with a knife belt that had pouches for his plush animatronics. Midoriya was the first to enter the training ground, where Aizawa and All Might were waiting. "Well, Midoriya, I have to say your costume looks quite simple," Aizawa pointed out. "I like it simple, just like you, Eraserhead," Midoriya retorted. As the rest of the class arrived, Midoriya summoned Nightmare, who climbed onto his shoulders and relaxed. The class kept their distance from Nightmare. "Nightmare, could you shrink a bit?" Momo asked, and he complied, matching her height. "Hey, Nightmare, what gives?" "You listen to Momo but not me," Vanny pouted. "She is a child worthy to listen to," Nightmare replied. "Okay, class, today we will be doing battle training. You will be split into groups of 2. One will be the hero team while the other will be villains. The hero team must secure a bomb or capture all the villains to win. The villains must capture the heroes to win. You will be given special capturing tape. Once put on, the person is eliminated," All Might explained, pulling out a box. "In this box are your names. Half of the class will pick one and find their partner," Aizawa added. When Midoriya grabbed his pick, he was pleased to find he had Tokoyami. As he approached him, Nightmare following closely, he noticed Momo looking uneasy. "Hey Momo, you okay?" he asked. "No. I got the great pervert," Momo sighed. Midoriya smirked, an idea forming. "Whatever you're thinking, don't do it," she warned, but it was too late. He summoned Funtime Freddy and transformed him into a plush. "Here, he will help you a bit. The pouch on your costume is for him. That's why I drew it," Midoriya smiled at her. She gave him a hug. "Hey Tokoyami, I'm your partner. Let's do our best," Midoriya cheered. "I'm Midoriya. With you on a team, the darkness might surely win," the shadow user stated. "And I have a plan already for that." Midoriya started to grin. Midoriya and Tokoyami moved a bit away from their class to discuss their game plan. "Okay, problem children. The first group is Midoriya and Tokoyami versus Bakugo and Ida. Midoriya's group are the villains, and Bakugo's group are the heroes." The class snickered at that. Bakugo rolled his eyes. "Hey, fair game," he said as he approached them. "Likewise, let's do our best." Midoriya fist bumped him before heading with Tokoyami into the building. As they reached the 5th floor, they began executing their plan right away. Tokoyami used Dark Shadow to envelop the room in complete darkness. Midoriya summoned several animatronics, including Ennard, Ball Aura, and Mangle. The rest of the class watched live footage from a secluded room, growing increasingly frightened by the number of animatronics Midoriya had. "How many of those does he have?" questioned Kaminari. "If I remember correctly, he has 143 of them," Momo and Uraraka said in unison. 143? The class shouted. "Yep, and he only uses up to 30 of them. If he gets really angry, he can summon up to, but if you really make him mad, he summons the twisted animatronics, and I'm telling you, those are 10 times more frightening." Vanny popped up unexpectedly. "Hey, isn't that one of Midoriya's plushies?" Aizawa noticed. "Oh yes, Aiza gave it to him as a good luck charm," Momo pointed out. "What do you mean by, keep the pervert away?" Aizawa asked, curious. Just then, Funtime Freddy transformed into animatronic form and turned toward Mineta. "Freddy, no!" Momo tried to stop him, but it was too late. "Bon Bon, go get him." Freddy threw Bon Bon right at Mineta, who quickly lost his composure. "Bon Bon!" Momo freaked out and rushed to him. Back at the training ground, Midoriya was explaining the plan to the animatronics. "Okay, here's the plan. The Foxies and Scraptrap patrol the hallways. Jump scares are allowed, but no biting or killing." The class gasped at the mention of killing. "Ennard, Ball Aura, Mangle, and the others will stay in this room as a last line of defense," Midoriya instructed, summoning Shadow Bonnie and Freddy. "The shadows will annoy Bakugo and Ida as they approach the room. Let's give them a little fright, shall we?" Midoriya smirked. Tokoyami was amazed at the plan, thinking, no doubt he will make a perfect hero. "Let the fighting begin," shouted All Might. Bakugo grabbed Ida, and they flew to the rooftop of the building with the help of his quirk. "Okay, Since Midoriya has a strong quirk and can summon multiple robots, we should stay together and in the dark, Ida suggested, and Bakugo agreed. I can hear footsteps, Ballora pointed out. Midoriya smirked. The way you're smirking kinda creeps me out, Midoriya, Tokoyami stated. If you find that creepy, then you won't like her, Midoriya summoned Nightmarian. They want to stay in the dark, give them a little fright, he ordered. Nightmarian disappeared into the shadows. Ida and Bakugo, however, found themselves in a tight spot as Scraptrap spotted them and approached. They tried to stay low and quiet. Just as Scraptrap was right in front of them, he examined Ida's face for a moment before turning and leaving. Both of them let out a sigh of relief, but that was a mistake. The three foxies heard them and rushed in. Back in the observation room, the class was amazed at the speed of the three animatronics. Their speed could rival Ida's, Uraraka pointed out. Well, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes right now, Mineta stated. I wouldn't even be scared of those three, I'd be more scared of that black tentacle robot, Ashido shivered. Oh, you mean Nightmarian? Yeah, she can be kinda creepy, Momo added, shivering alongside Ashido. But overall, she's kinda cool with her tentacle fingers and ability to crawl on walls and ceilings. How come you know so much about Midoriya's animatronics? Wondered Hagakure. He showed most of them to me, all except the restricted ones. I still wonder why, though, Momo answered. Oh, I'm telling you, you wouldn't be able to sleep again once you see the twisted animatronics. I find the nightmare animatronics scary enough, but they exceed all expectations, Vanny stated. Midoriya must have predicted they wouldn't split up and sent 3 of his faster animatronics their way. If they split up, the 2 Foxies could keep up with Ida while the other one hunts Bakugo. But I'm still wondering what he wants Nightmarian to do, Aizawa explained. Well, that's easy. If I know Izuku well enough, he'd probably try to split them up. He has both shadow animatronics on standby for fright, Scraptrap for distraction, and the Foxies as hunters. Nightmarian is only there to capture them. The other animatronics with Birdhead and Izuku are there to provide special insight into where Bakugo and Ida are located right now. Ballora and the Mini-Renas have enhanced hearing, Ennard and the Mangled are there for an extra layer of fright, Vanny explained. Back with Ida and Bakugo, Ida suggested, we need to split up. No, we stay together. That's his plan, to split us up. We're stronger together. Bakugo shouted back. He turned to the 3 foxes and unleashed a couple of explosions. Not only did this make the 3 foxes disappear, but it also took out Nightmarian. Not bad, he figured out Izuku's plan, but they're in for a fright, Vanny complimented. It feels like there was an explosion, and it took out the foxes and Nightmarian, Ballora pointed out to Midoriya. That must be Bakugo's quirk then, but we still have the shadows on standby, so I'm not that worried, Ballora, Midoriya stated, returning to his game of Uno with Tokoyami. The rest of the class gaped as they saw them casually playing Uno. Bakugo and Ida were on their way to the bomb room, but each time they entered a different room, the shadow animatronics jumped out at them. Oh, for goodness sake, show yourselves, you malfunctioning robots. Bakugo was frustrated. Calm down, Bakugo. There's one room left, they're probably in there. We have to be tactical. Midoriya has probably set some kind of trap to stop us. I suggest you blow down the door, and I'll rush in and grab the bomb. We found out that they are vulnerable to explosions, fire, and bright light, so with your quirk, you could distract them. Ida explained their plan as they made their way to the last room. That might just work. Let's do it. Better get ready to rush in because I can't hold them off for long, Bakugo said, getting into position. Ida fired up his engines. Boom. As Ida rushed in, he stopped midway. Both Bakugo and Ida wondered where they were. The room was completely dark, and there was no sign of either Tokoyami or Midoriya. This is the floor they should be on. The tracker says so, Ida pointed out. Suddenly, a small clown-like robot walked out, wearing a helicopter hat and sporting a pink, orange, and purple color design. As DD distracted them, Ballora quietly crawled above. She waited for a moment, then jumped down, startling Bakugo and Ida, who fell backward. As they tried to get back up and defend themselves, both Mangle and Ennard dropped down, pinning them down. And that's the end, villains win. All Might announced over the intercom. Midoriya and Tokoyami suddenly appeared, and the room was no longer dark. Where did you guys just come from? Bakugo wondered. Tokoyami darkened the room with his quirk. I found out he could engulf us in it, and we used this as extra cover while my animatronics took care of you too, Midoriya explained as he approached them. Let them go, training is over. Ennard and Mangle disappeared. Midoriya reached out both hands, offering a helping hand. You both did well. I'm honestly impressed that you figured out the weaknesses of some of my animatronics, he said as he helped them up. As they made their way back to the observation room, they exchanged tactical plans. Okay, class, who do you think was the MVP of the match? All Might questioned as Midoriya, Bakugo, Ida, and Tokoyami entered the room. Several hands went up. All Might picked Momo. I'd say the MVP today was Midoriya. He had multiple solid plans to defend the bomb, and with the help of his quirk, he could stall the heroes for quite a while, Momo explained. That's correct, Yayorozu. Midoriya showed teamwork, discipline, and kept a cool composure as things didn't go his way, Aizawa commented. What happened to Bon Bon? Midoriya was shocked to see Bon Bon was completely smashed. Yeah, about that, Freddy didn't stop throwing him at my Netta, Momo stated. God, I really need to adjust his aggressiveness, but I'm proud he took care of the troublemaker, Midoriya said. It was lunchtime, and Midoriya was feeling a surge of frustration. Some boys from the upper classes were flirting with Momo and didn't seem to budge, which irritated him. If they don't leave Momo alone soon, I'm about to blow this whole situation up, Midoriya thought, his right eye twitching. Calm down, will you? She has one of your plushies with her, so she's going to be fine, Tokoyami tried to reassure him. Yeah, but that's just a copy. That plush can't transform into an animatronic, the green teen stated. That's it. I'm breaking this up. Momo looks uncomfortable, and if they even think about touching her, they'll regret it, Midoriya declared as he walked over to them. He grabbed Momo by the waist and pulled her close, giving the two upperclassmen a fierce glare. What do you want, shrimp? One of them sneered. Hey, why don't you back off? She's not in your league, Midoriya shot back, his eyes darkening. Izuku, calm down. Don't do anything rash, Momo urged. What's wrong? Are you crying? Look, the shrimp is crying, the two laughed. Me crying? That's just ridiculous. I'm about to make your lives a living nightmare, Midoriya glared at them, his pupils turning white. Behind him, his animatronics began to materialize. The two upperclassmen took a few steps back, clearly intimidated. Che kid, we don't want any trouble, they stammered, fear evident in their voices. Oh, what's wrong? Scared? It's always the same with you guys, thinking you can act tough. Midoriya stated, his resolve unwavering. Momo still tried to calm him. You will not be spared, you will not be saved. The shadow fears me. I am your wickedness made of flesh. I am here to claim what is left of you. I will put you back to relive your horror, Nightmare stated as the animatronics closed in. The rest of the students around them watched in horror and silence. Some decided to film the whole thing. Midoriya, that's enough. Call your nightmares back. Principal Nizu entered the cafeteria with Midnight and Aizawa. You heard him, Midoriya glared at Nizu. The animatronics stopped in their tracks. Now you too. You are a disgrace for second years here at UA. Both of you will be expelled from this school for 2 weeks for harassment, Aizawa scolded them, his quirk active as he gave them a frightening glare. But what about him? Why doesn't he get expelled? He tried to kill us, one of them protested. Quite simple, he is part of the Yayorozu Corp, Nizu explained. Both of you were hitting on the daughter of the Yayorozu, Midnight stated. Midoriya gave them a confident grin, which only angered one of them further. He activated his quirk and tried to rush Midoriya, but he was quickly wrapped in Aizawa's tape. Release him, Aizawa. I want to see what he has in store, Midoriya said, letting go of Momo and making his way over to the teachers, his animatronics following closely behind. Aizawa got the message and started grinning. Midnight and Nizu exchanged questioning looks. Aizawa let go of the kid and took a step back. What is happening, Shota? Midnight asked. Don't worry about it, Namuri, he answered, his grin growing bigger. Oh, I get it. Nizu started to grin as well. As the kid rushed Midoriya and tried to land a punch, entered. Midoriya summoned, receiving questioning looks. He caught the punch. Suddenly, wires came out of his back and wrapped around the attacker, slamming him repeatedly into the ground until he passed out. If you try hitting on my girl again, I'll make sure you're the next organ donor for my animatronics. Midoriya glanced over to the other one, oil dripping down his face. Izuku, stop it now. You did enough already. Momo pulled him away. Entered. Get out of Midoriya. Uraraka came over to them. Midoriya's shirt suddenly lifted to reveal the wired robot climbing out from underneath. The teachers were amazed again at the display of skill the kid had. I would have taken care of him right now, Entered stated before going into plush form. Uraraka picked him up and went back to the others. Oh, I'm going to deal with this. Momo was still trying to calm him. Izuku Midoriya, she said, now visibly upset. Oh no, their class said in unison. Midoriya turned to Momo, who had a serious expression. Yes, he smiled at her, slightly frightened. Don't emokai me, you dumbass. If you don't want to listen to me, then I won't agree on the contract, Momo hissed. The students around them thought, he's in trouble. Fine, I'll stop, Midoriya sighed in defeat. Good, now let's head back to class. The next lesson is about to start, Momo stated. Nightmares disappear. Funtime Freddy, come here, Midoriya said. As Freddy appeared, Midoriya lifted Momo and placed her on Freddy's shoulders. They made their way back to the classroom, their classmates following shortly after. Hey, Yayorozu, what did you mean with signing the contract? Ashido wanted to know as they walked through the hallway. Momo started to blush a bit. Hey, don't blame me, you brought it up. Midoriya glanced back at Momo, who was giving him a look that said, you handle it. Izuku. He wants to work part-time as my personal bodyguard, Momo sighed. OMG, why didn't you sign yet? Ashido and Hagakure squealed. She's afraid I might actually hurt someone, and you saw how protective I am of her. If someone tries to hit on her, I might actually hurt them, Midoriya told them. As they reached their classroom, Aizawa was already waiting for them. Hey Midoriya, he called out. Yes, sensei, Midoriya answered. I'm proud of you, Aizawa smirked. It was the day of the sports festival, and Midoriya was quite drained from the first 2 rounds. Now it was time for the 1v1, and he had a bad feeling about it. Since he started the tournament, he had trouble controlling his animatronics, either due to his built-up anger or lack of concentration. Izuku, you need to calm down. She will be fine. Momo can take care of herself, plus she has Funtime Freddy with her, Marionette reassured him. Since the sports festival started, Momo had been constantly approached by upperclassmen, which had frustrated Midoriya. It was only a matter of time until he snapped. No, she doesn't have Freddy with her. That's a plush copy, he retorted. I say take care of them, Izuku. You have me, I can handle it. Twisted Freddy appeared in front of him. The rest of Class 1A and the students around them took a big step back. Twisted Freddy was a large brown bear animatronic with numerous sets of teeth, resembling the original Freddy Fazbear but with a terrifying twist. With his device not active, he appeared blank white and featureless, only recognizable as Freddy by his ears and hat. Vanny was right, he looks horrible, Ashido pointed out, visibly scared. Not just her, but all the students around them who could see the 8-foot-tall robot. Get back where you came from, you're scaring all the children. Vanny popped out and started scolding him. Twisted Freddy complied. He didn't want to get on Vanny's bad side, as that could lead to serious trouble for him. Izuku, get over there and bring Momo back, I need my gossip girl. Vanny ordered. Midoriya and Mari headed in Momo's direction. On the way, he summoned Funtime Freddy. When he arrived, he instructed Freddy to pick up Momo and place her on his shoulders. What the? The upperclassmen were confused about where the robot had come from. Izuku, thank God you're here. They were constantly hitting on me with cringy pickup lines. What took you so long? Momo pouted. Freddy made his way behind Midoriya. Sorry, Momo, but a certain puppet didn't want me to interfere, he said, giving her a glance. What the hell, kid? She's mine, So back off, she's way out of your league, one of them said, trying to grab Midoriya by the collar. Midoriya snapped his fingers, and Vanny appeared in between them, holding a knife up against the older student's neck. She was wearing her bunny outfit, which had several blood splatters. Don't even try, she stated. The boy punched Vanny in the stomach, disarming her and holding the knife against her neck. That was a mistake. Oi! Midoriya started to leak oil from his right eye and blood from his left. Izuku, calm down, don't give in. Vanny and Momo tried to calm him, but it was too late. The teachers noticed the commotion caused by the upperclassmen and decided not to interfere. As Midoriya looked up at the upperclassmen, they realized they were in trouble. Hey kid, don't do anything stupid, not like you could pack a punch, they laughed at him. Oi, forget the twisted ones. Bring forth the corrupted ones. Midoriya snapped. Sheet, Vanny said, grabbing her knife back and throwing it at Midoriya, trying to snap him out of it. But the knife was stopped mid-flight by a black and white tentacle. As they turned to see who the tentacle belonged to, horror filled their faces. Funtime Freddy walked back to the rest of Class 1A to bring Momo to safety. Vanny tried her best to snap Midoriya out of it. Izuku, get your ACT together. Those are forbidden animatronics. They can corrupt you too, she urged, realizing he was out for blood. Vanny then teleported in front of him and punched him across the face, ignoring the animatronics getting closer to the upperclassmen. Class 1A and the rest of the students watched in horror at the sight of those animatronics. Vanny repeatedly punched Midoriya to bring him back to his senses. Nightmares. Vanny summoned, and the nightmare animatronics appeared in front of the upperclassmen, holding back the corrupted ones. Vanny took Midoriya and dragged him to Class 1A. Momo, you need to kiss him so he gets back to his senses. He needs to calm down. Vanny pointed out. Momo blushed a bit but did as instructed. She jumped down from Freddy and kissed Midoriya. She held the kiss until she felt him kiss her back. As they parted and Midoriya regained his consciousness, the corrupted ones disappeared. The nightmare animatronics relaxed slightly. Child, you need to control your anger, Nightmare said as he appeared and then vanished. The rest of the students were terrified of Midoriya. They didn't want to think about what he was capable of. The next day after the sports festival, the rest of Class 1A was somewhat scared of Midoriya, except for Momo and Uraraka. He, on the other hand, was sitting at his desk, hands crossed and sleeping. Hey, Izuku, shouldn't you explain what happened? I think your classmates are a bit scared yet curious, Vanny stated. HM? What was that, Vanessa? Midoriya woke up, noticing the others standing a few seats behind him. Oh, yeah. So what happened at the sports festival was me losing my cool. When I get angry, there are multiple outcomes. The nightmare animatronics are just my usual anger, like being annoyed. The twisted animatronics come out when I'm about to rage. The cursed ones, like you saw at the sports festival, appear when I snap. I can control my anger and jealousy quite well, but when I snap, they come out. And then there are the draw-kill animatronics. They don't look as frightening as the cursed ones, but they finish the job. Midoriya explained just as Aizawa entered the room to start the lesson. All right, settle down and turn. He looked confused at the students. Get in your seats before I give you all detention, he shouted. They quickly made their way to their seats and fell silent, not daring to say a word. Okay, listen up, you little sheets. Midoriya's quirk is why he's the strongest of all of you. Now get your heads out of your buttes and face reality. He has a nightmare quirk, so live with it, Aizawa said, clearly frustrated. Okay, back to the topic. You all did great at the sports festival, and some of you received requests to intern with pro heroes. For those who didn't get internships, don't worry, I will help you choose one. Now, here is the chart showing those with the most to least internships, Aizawa said, projecting a list. Midoriya Izuku, 2800. Bakugo Katsuki, 1500. Todoroki Shoto, 1400. Tokoyami Fumikage 981. Wait a minute, why do I have so many requests? Midoriya wondered. I was eliminated in the second round. Because of your incident at the sports festival, you caught the attention of many heroes when you summoned your robots. they found it intriguing. You received requests from Mount Lady, Endeavor, myself, and even the scientist David Shield, Aizawa explained. I'll be handing out a paper where you state which pro you'll be spending the week with. You have until the end of the day to decide, Aizawa continued. So, Aizu, who are you going with? Even support heroes want you, Vanny chimed in. I don't know, maybe Edge Shot or Snipe, but Midnight might also be interesting, Midoriya replied. Momo overheard and approached him. Oh, what the? Midoriya exclaimed as he turned to see Momo standing there with an annoyed expression. Let me guess, you don't want me to go with heroines, am I right? He raised an eyebrow. Momo smiled in response. Fine, for your sake I won't do it. But don't pick Uabami. I know that look on your face, and I can assure you that you won't be doing hero-related stuff. She is mainly a celebrity, so it speaks for itself, he stated. Okay, then who should I pick? She asked. Easy, pick Edshot. He is at the top of your list, so he would be the best choice, Midoriya pointed out. I'll be going with Eraserhead, so I don't need to be too picky. I'm flattered, Midoriya, but why me, may I ask? Aizawa inquired. Easy, we both like to stay hidden, he smirked. Aizawa understood and started to grin back. The other students were unsure whether to be concerned, creeped out, amazed at their telepathic communication, or all of the above. Okay, kids, let's start with the lesson. Today you will be picking hero names, but I'm too lazy and not that good at it, so. Aizawa trailed off as he crawled into his sleeping bag. I will do it. Midnight burst through the door. She handed each student a whiteboard and a marker. Okay, write your hero name on the board and afterward present it to the class. Keep in mind you will be doing hero work under that name, so choose wisely, Midnight pointed out. As time went on, almost everyone presented their names, except for a few, including Midoriya. He was struggling to come up with a name and started to feel overwhelmed. That's when inspiration struck him. He quickly wrote it down and went to the front to present it. Well, it suits you quite well, Midoriya-san, Azui stated. I have to agree with Azui. It fits your quirk quite well, Momo praised him. Well, I had a bit of a crisis about what to name myself. Then I thought about those I've saved and realized I like to give them copies of my animatronic plushies as gifts. I also realized that I often send my animatronics to scare the villains. I am the nightmare hero, reality check. Midoriya smiled at them. I like it, Midoriya. I approve, Midnight stated. With that, the lesson ended for the day. Midoriya started to pack his things to go home, but before he did, he needed to talk to Ida first. Lulbit, stop Ida in his tracks, he ordered. Lulbit appeared in front of Ida to stop him from leaving. Midoriya, what is the meaning of this? Ida questioned. I wanted to talk to you about something. You've been looking gloomy since yesterday, and I just wanted to check that you won't do anything rash, like I did. Talk to the people around you. It helps. Midoriya smiled at his friend. Come on, Lulbit, we're going home, he said, and with that, Lulbit and Midoriya were gone. He might be right, but I can't let him interfere, Ida thought to himself as he left the classroom. To be continued. Okay, Midoriya, we'll skip the whole training thing because we both know you and I don't need it. We'll just go on patrol right away, so meet me here at 8 p.m. tonight, Aizawa said before crawling back into his sleeping bag. Midoriya took his belongings and started to head home. As he was about to reach the front gates, he was stopped by Momo. Izuku, wait up, she shouted. Oh, Momo needs something? He asked. In fact, yes. Can you promise me something, Izuku? She walked up to him. Sure, what do you need me to promise? He smiled at her. Promise me you won't go overboard. I don't want to lose you, she said, pulling him into a tight embrace. I promise that nothing bad will happen, he hugged her back. They let each other go and parted ways, sharing a soft smile. Little did they know, half of their class watched the interaction. How are they not a thing yet? Ashido wondered. Probably because Midoriya is dense, Hagakure stated. He's not dense, he's just insecure and scared to ruin their friendship, even though I know both of them have a crush on each other, Uraraka sighed as she started to catch up with Midoriya. Midoriya, wait up, she called. Hey, Uraraka, he greeted her. So you and Momo, huh? She nudged him playfully. He felt a small blush creep onto his cheeks. And no, she was just worried about me, that's all, he retorted. Oh, come on. I know you have a crush on her. Just confess already. The way she looks at you says everything, Uraraka encouraged, trying to boost his confidence. I'll think about it, but thanks for trying to lift my spirits, he smiled as they reached the train station. They parted ways, and as Midoriya arrived home, he prepared for the internship, packing everything he needed for the week. It was about 7 p.m., and he felt a little hesitant about his first mission. Okay, Mom, I'll be gone for the week, Midoriya shouted back as he left. When he arrived at the front gates of Ua, Aizawa was already waiting for him, along with All Might and Nizu. Ah, Midoriya, there's something we need to discuss before you start your internship with Eraserhead, Nizu stated. Okay, shall we then? He agreed. The four of them went to the Nexus office. The reason you're here is that All Might wants to offer you something, Nizu began. Okay, young Midoriya, I would like you to be M. I'll pass, Midoriya interrupted. What? All Might deflated, looking surprised. You heard me. I won't be your successor. I'm powerful enough, and I don't need a power enhancement quirk, Midoriya stated firmly. My quirk, if you see it as one or many, depends on the person, is powerful enough. It gives me strength, speed, enhanced hearing, stealth, and so on. I don't need it. Start looking for someone who needs the quirk. Someone who doesn't have a quirk, someone who is worth it and won't let fame and power get to their head. With that, Midoriya stood up. Let's go, Sensei, we need to start our patrol. He left All Might and Nizu behind, one satisfied and the other shocked. As Midoriya and Aizawa were about to leave campus, All Might called out to them again. Young Midoriya, please wait. Rethink your decision. All Might urged. Let me refresh your memory, shall we, Toshinori? Midoriya's eyes darkened. What? All Might looked shocked. How do? Quite simple, actually. I still remember that day as if it happened yesterday. You saving me. The rooftops. Your words. Your rejection. All Might's eyes widened at the hints. Young Midoriya. I'm so. Save it. Now that I have a quirk, you recognize me. You acknowledge me. Leave me alone. I'm heading downtown. Catch you later, Eraser. With that, Midoriya walked away. What did you do? Eraserhead wrapped All Might in his capturing tape and pulled him close. I told you, didn't I, Toshinori? He's still mad about that day you rejected him, Nizu said as he approached from behind. I just wanted to keep him safe, All Might stuttered. And you call yourself the #1 hero? Aizawa let go of him and went to catch up with Midoriya. All Might was left there on his knees. Hey, Izuku, wait up! Aizawa shouted, jumping from rooftop to rooftop. He was chasing after a thug that Aizawa didn't know about. Entered Mangle, now! Midoriya shouted. Both animatronics jumped out of the shadows, pinning down the thug. Finally, you were a tough one, huh? Midoriya said. Izuku, why didn't you? Oh, never mind, now I know. Aizawa caught up with him. Oh, Eraserhead, you made it, he said as he tied up the villain. Get off him, Midoriya instructed, and both animatronics complied. Let's bring him to the nearest police station, shall we? Aizawa smiled at him, not wanting to bombard him with questions. As time passed, it soon became the last day of the internship. Midoriya was at Aizawa's place, in his guest room, talking to Momo. So yeah, that was pretty much my yesterday evening, he explained. Yeah, I saw. You did great stopping a bank robbery, she praised him. Hey, Momo, are you going on patrol again tonight? Yeah, what about you, Aizu? Are you and Sensei in the same area again? Yeah, probably. Well, I have to go, Midnight called me. He was cut off by a furious Momo. I thought you promised me you wouldn't be interning with heroines, she shouted. And I didn't. The thing is, Aizawa and Kiyama-sensei are a thing, Midoriya said, knowing Midnight was eavesdropping on him again. What? No way. Momo was surprised. Yeah, it was unexpected. Anyway, I need to go now. Maybe we'll catch up later on patrol. Take care. Midoriya ended the call. You can come out now. Both of you, he said. Well, Good job, keeping it a secret, Aizawa chuckled. Come on, Shota, let's go, villains don't catch themselves, Midoriya said as he grabbed his knife belt. Both Aizawa and Midoriya sat on the edge of a building, looking down at the civilians. Hey, Izuku, Aizawa questioned him. After the interaction with All Might, the two of them had started to grow closer, acting like father and son. What happened between you and All Might? You don't have to answer it, Aizawa replied. It's fine. The time I was 8 years old and was abducted by some villains. All Might came to save me just in time. As he wanted to leave, I hugged his leg as he took off. As he landed, we had a little talk. And at that time, I didn't have a quirk because I was a late bloomer. I questioned whether even a quirkless person could be a hero. He shot me down right away, saying I would be useless. Midoriya stated this, his anger and frustration slowly building up. Aizawa grabbed him by the arm and embraced him in a hug. It's fine now, you'd make a great hero with the quirk you got, he reassured him, tapping into his nurturing instincts. But an explosion a couple of blocks away ruined the moment. What the? Both of them exclaimed, looking at each other. Well, this place went down to hell, Midoriya said as he and Aizawa stood in front of the explosion site. The other pro-heroes in the area had already started the cleanup when Midoriya noticed a muscular man with a distinct hunch. He had a flat, somewhat triangular face without a nose and an extraordinarily long tongue. His long black hair was messy, draping over his face, held back by a headband and mask, and he had small red eyes. He wore a dark combat suit plated with metal armor, with sleeveless torso and yellow bandages wrapped around his arms. As Midoriya recognized the signature blood-red scarf and matching headband, he whispered, "Stain." Aizawa looked at him in disbelief. You're kidding, right? There's no doubt about it, but I wonder what... Midoriya stopped as he saw Ida kick Stain down the alleyway. What the hell? Both of them shouted. Midoriya quickly pulled out his phone and sent an SOS message to his class group chat, requesting help. Aizawa, on the other hand, went straight into the fight. What do you think you're doing? He shouted at his student, deflecting Stain's blade. Well, if it isn't the underground hero Eraserhead, Stain greeted. Before he could move forward, he was tackled by Ennard and pinned down. Hope backup comes quickly, Midoriya thought as he joined the fray. Unfortunately, Ennard didn't hold up for long. Stain got back up and rushed at them. Aizawa engaged in combat while Midoriya summoned some of his animatronics. Nightmare, Foxy, Mangle, Lolbit, he called, and all four appeared from his knife belt pouches. After giving Ida a serious look, he pulled out his knife and joined Aizawa. They worked perfectly together, as if they were made to be a hero team. As they fought, Todoroki and Momo arrived. Midoriya saw them from the corner of his eye. Todoroki, ice him now, he demanded. Ida, meanwhile, was being treated by Momo, who noticed he was badly injured. The fight was going well, but Aizawa let his guard down and got paralyzed. Vanny, take over, Midoriya said as he pulled his teacher over to Momo. Unaware of his growing aggression and despair, he continued to strategize. Todoroki provided fire cover while Midoriya instructed Momo, take care of Aizawa and start making a sniper rifle loaded with RBB bullets. He emptied a bag full of snacks as he rushed back into close combat, throwing a knife at Stain's head. The knife barely missed, grazing his cheek. As Midoriya and Vanny teleported around, knifing Stain, Momo and Todoroki bombarded him with fire and ice. After some time, Stain grew frustrated, and Midoriya got too cocky. Stain landed a slice on him, paralyzing him in the process. He then attacked Todoroki and Momo, successfully injuring them as well. You kids in Eraserhead are lucky today, the robot boy not so much. I'll let you four leave while I take this kid's life, Stain declared, pulling out his katana. Midoriya, pushed to his limit, exclaimed, not today. Today's going to be a good day. He slowly began to feel movement returning to his body as the paralysis wore off. Draw kill, he shouted, causing Vanny to pale. Are you insane, Izuku? They will murder him. Vanny shook him, trying to bring him back to sanity. But it was too late. Kill, Midoriya muttered, loud enough for everyone to hear. Hippity-hoppity, your head is our property, your organs will be done and your body will be sold. The animatronics appeared, and without hesitation, they attacked. Twisted, get your asses out here and hold them back. Vanny ordered. The twisted animatronics complied, starting to fend off the attacking animatronics, but they were outnumbered. You won't be spared, we won't let you through, Twisted Freddy stated. Stain, seizing the opportunity, prepared to escape. As he was about to reach the edge of the rooftop, he was tackled down by Molten Freddy. Oh, for goodness sake, how many of those things does he have? Stain shouted, clearly annoyed. Trash Bunny, do you mind helping, or are you just going to watch from the sidelines? Vanny was frustrated that Glitchtrap could end it all but didn't. Why should I? He stated, enjoying the view. Just do it already, you know what to do, she hissed. Fine, fine, he retorted and made them all disappear. Midoriya fell back to reality, gasping for air. What the hell happened? He said. As he saw Stain trying to bolt, he wanted to stop him but collapsed. Luckily, Aizawa caught him in his tape. Momo rushed to Midoriya. Aizu, you shouldn't have gone overboard, she yelled, shaking him. Midoriya glanced at her and then at Glitchtrap. Sorry, Momo, he said, giving her a peck on the cheek before going over to Glitchtrap. The Glitch, thanks for. You know, Midoriya stated. Glitchtrap smiled at him. No problem, kid, he replied, and shortly after, Glitchtrap and Vanny disappeared. Izuku, are you sure you're okay? Aizawa questioned him. Yeah, I'm fine, sensei, Midoriya smiled. Wait, since when are you two on a first-name basis? Someone asked. It started 2 days ago, I guess. Both of them shrugged. As they were looking after Stain, backup arrived shortly after. They took the ice statue of him and loaded him into the police van. Ida was transported to the nearest hospital. Okay, which one of you kids froze him like that? The police questioned. Shoto. Endeavor shouted, catching their attention. What do you want, old man? He hissed. I'm proud of you today, I wanted to let you know, he stated. Let's go, guys. Let's leave them alone, Midoriya said as he, Momo, and Aizawa headed back to the crowded streets. So I guess I'll see you Monday. Midoriya smiled at Momo as she met up with Edgeshot again. They smiled at each other and went their separate ways. When they arrived back at Aizawa's place, both boys were jumped by midnight. My babies are safe, thank goodness. They were embraced in a big hug. Kiyama-sensei were fine, both of them chuckled. After the internship, things went downhill for Midoriya. He was still at Aizawa's place, watching the news report on the capture of Stain and the explosion he caused. Stain blew up a hospital. That's when Midoriya realized it was the one his mother worked at. Shortly after, he broke down in tears. Both Aizawa and Midnight didn't know what was wrong. After trying desperately to find out what happened, they looked at the news and their hearts dropped. They remained silent and brought him into a deep embrace. After Midoriya calmed down a bit, he looked somewhat lost. Hey kid, I know it's hard but you've got us. Glitchtrap and Vanny joined the hug. After a while, they parted. You can stay here for the time being, Aizawa said, ruffling through Midoriya's green hair. Midoriya was looking back at the events that had occurred. On the other hand, he was bored to death as Aizawa just started the class. He summoned some mini-renas to keep himself occupied. Aizawa noticed this. Izuku, if this is too boring for you, how about this? I'll buy you that new phone you want and make sure Nemuri stops worrying about you if you solve this equation, Aizawa smirked. The rest of the class dropped their jaws at him mentioning his first name and the deal. Deal. Midoriya shot up and headed to the front of the class, grabbing a piece of chalk. What's the equation, old man? He smirked. Let's see if you can solve this, smart aleck, Aizawa replied with a grin. The class wondered when the two of them got so close to each other. Examine the specified sequences of numbers. N is an element of N, monotony, restriction, convergence, and determine the limit if necessary. The equation is n 2 minus 4n minus 12n squared / 3n squared, Aizawa smirked. And 0 for n odd and an AB for n even. For AB, this gives a 0 sequence. For A is not equal to B, the sequence is bounded, but not monotonous and not convergent, Midoriya stated, throwing the piece of chalk into its box and walking back to his seat like nothing happened. That would be one new phone, Shota, he smirked. You little brat, Aizawa huffed. What the heck? The class was brought out of their trance. How did you know this, Izuku? Momo questioned. I'm smart, I just tend to not show it, he replied, bored. Aizawa took out his phone and started texting Midnight. After a few minutes, she burst through the door. Who said I'm not allowed to worry about my child? She was furious. The class looked dumbstruck. I did. And who said he was your child? Aizawa calmly responded. No, I'll keep him and you can't stop me, she retorted, clinging to Midoriya. Come on, Namuri, I'm 16. You know I can take care of myself, Midoriya stated. It's called motherly love, dipstick, Vanny chuckled. What she didn't know was that Midnight had grabbed her by the arm and pulled her into the same embrace as Midoriya. The same goes for you too, Vanessa, she grinned. Midoriya was slightly laughing. Okay, can someone explain what the heck is going on? Kirishima brought them back. What? Can't I call my child by his name? Aizawa and Midnight stated, and the class dropped their jaws. Since when? Momo wanted to know. Don't question it, just accept it, Midoriya sighed. Remember, old man, we'll go shopping after this. With that said, Midoriya left the class with a smirk. Midnight punched Aizawa. What did I tell you about making deals with Izuku? You know very well he'll cheat, she scolded him. Well, this time he didn't, Vanny replied. What are you still doing here? Shouldn't you be with Izuku? Momo questioned. I may be part of his quirk, but I'm my own person. I'm not bound to him like Bird Boy is to his shadow, she pointed out and then disappeared. Midoriya returned and gave his attention to the mini-arenas again. Where were you just now? Aizawa asked. I got a Red Bull. I'm really tired, he said, pulling out the can and opening it. Hey, what did we talk about? Aizawa eyed him. Midoriya tossed him another can. God, you're so needy, he said. Okay, you problem children, summer is about to knock on Satan's door, so prepare yourselves. It would be a waste to give you guys 5 weeks off, so UA decided to hold a 2-week summer camp for Class 1A and 1B, Aizawa announced. The class erupted into noisy chatter. Would you shut up? Some people are trying to speak here. Aizawa yelled. The class fell silent. After class ended, 1A made their way home. Unfortunately, Ashido blocked the door and forced everyone to stay. Ashido, you have to have a good reason to block the door, or I'm summoning creation, Midoriya threatened. Calm down, Mr. Mood Swing, Ashido replied. Okay, before everyone heads home, I would like to suggest that we go as a class to the mall to get our remaining supplies for summer camp. That way, we can hang out more and learn about ourselves, she recommended. Everyone agreed. Midoriya, however, didn't care much for the idea. He teleported out of the room and started heading home. Midoriya was lying on his bed, thinking about how to change his hero suit and what upgrades he could make. Hey, Izuku, why don't you join your class today? I mean, you don't have anything else to do, Mari suggested. Before he could respond, he heard a knock on his door. Hey, Izuku, can you help me out for a bit? Midnight asked. Sure, what should I do? He replied. I can't reach the upper shelf in the kitchen, she pointed out. Midoriya and Midnight made their way to the kitchen to see what she needed. Why do you need to go all the way to the top? He asked. Quite simple, I keep my secret cookie stash up there, she smiled. Okay, and how would you know I wouldn't eat them? He smirked. You don't eat sweets, Zuku, Midnight said, giving him a blank stare. Creation, Midoriya summoned a 6-foot-tall wired and twisted robot. That's a new one, Namuri pointed out. Before Midoriya could give Creation any orders, he heard another knock at the front door. Angel, get the front door, and Creation, get the cookie jar on top of the kitchen drawer, he ordered. A second animatronic appeared, an endoskeleton that was slightly burned. Angel opened the door, revealing all of Class 1A standing outside. Hi, is Midoriya here? Ashido asked. Midoriya overheard and came to the front, with Midnight and Creation following behind. When they saw Midnight, their eyes widened. Midoriya, are you and Midnight a thing? the class shouted in unison. Midoriya sweat dropped. No, I live here, he stated. You're probably doing indecent stuff with her. Mineta shouted. Midoriya and Midnight both blushed deeply. Before they could respond, Creation lunged at Mineta, but Angel caught his leg and slammed him onto the floor. Creation, calm down. You can deal with him later, Midoriya said, regaining his composure. The class was shocked to see he had a new animatronic. So, why are you guys here? He asked. We said we would go to the mall today to do some shopping, but you didn't answer your phone, so we decided to meet here, Ashido explained, smiling proudly. Zuka, before you go, you still need to get me the cookies. Midnight tugged on his shirt. God, you're so needy, Midoriya said, gesturing for Creation to get the cookies. He did as instructed. Anyway, let me grab my shoes and some other clothes, then I'll be ready. With that, Midoriya left the room. Why don't you guys come in so you don't have to stand outside? Midnight smiled at them. Ida tried to stop them, but he was too slow. Mineta, if you even try snooping around the house, I will personally send you to hell. Midoriya shouted from his room. So, Ashido smirked at Midnight. Midnight's sweat dropped. Are you and Midoriya a thing? Ashido asked, wiggling her eyebrows. Before Midnight could answer, Midoriya came out of his room. All the girls, except Midnight, started to blush at the sight. The boys were shocked. He stood there shirtless, revealing his well-toned upper body, complete with scars and marks. Namuri, do you know where I left my Thrasher shirt? He asked, unaware of his state of undress. She pointed at the couch. Oh, thanks. And do you know where I left my Vans? Midoriya asked as he went to grab them. You left your Vans in your room, Midnight pointed out. Oh, thanks, he said and went to get them. Shortly after he returned. Okay guys, let's go, Midoriya said, and the class nodded, following him to the mall. As they walked down the streets, they engaged in small talk. Hey, Midobro, what are those scars and marks on your body? Kirishima questioned. Midoriya stopped, his expression shadowed. Midoriya, the rest of the class prompted, concerned by his silence. He was brought back to reality when Yayorozu shook him gently. My scars. I don't want to talk about it, he replied, continuing toward the mall. Upon arriving, they discussed which stores to visit first. Later, they found themselves sitting in the food court, receiving curious glances from other patrons. Why are we getting so many weird stares? Ashido asked. I don't know, maybe because I have 15 animatronics carrying our shopping bags, Midoriya quipped. The class facepalmed, realizing the reason. Yeah, you might be right, but changing the topic, can you at least tell us what happened to some of those scars? They look fresh and deep, Momo stated. It's kind of personal, I'll share when I feel ready, Midoriya said with a soft smile. Suddenly, Glitchtrap appeared, worry evident in his voice. K1D, W3N33DTOG3T0 U70FH3R3 ASAP, he urged. Glitch, what's wrong? Midoriya asked, concern creeping into his voice. 7H1SPL4C3I$4B0 U7TOG3TH1J4CK3D, Glitchtrap warned. Just then, a massive explosion rocked the entrance of the food court. Lolbit, teleport yous outside. Midoriya ordered, and Lolbit complied. They appeared outside to find pro-heroes and police surrounding them all. What the hell happened here? They wondered aloud. One of the pros caught their attention. Kids, what are you doing here? Snipe shouted as he ran toward them. We were shopping. I could teleport us all out in time, Midoriya explained. Good job protecting your friends, kid, Snipe praised him. Sir, we have a problem, a police officer approached Snipe. Meanwhile, Class 1A discussed their next steps. What now? Ashido asked. Well, we can't just leave, can we? Bakugo protested. I agree with Bakugo, we have to save those people, Kirishima added. No, it's too dangerous, we might get, Ida started, but was ignored. I could send my animatronics in. I think Mangle, Ennard, Molten, and Goldie can track down the hostages, but I need to go in myself, Midoriya pointed out. but he was met with a sharp slap to the face, the sound echoing through the area. The police and heroes paused, looking at the kids in shock. "You idiot! I'm not going to let you go in there. I am not going to lose you, I need you." Momo yelled at him. Midoriya looked down, not saying anything. Slowly, he raised his gaze to Momo and removed his eye patch. She flinched, fearing what might happen next, but he gently pulled her hands away, caressed her cheek, and kissed her. Momo was taken aback but soon kissed him back. "You're not going to lose me. It takes more than a bunch of explosives to take me down. Besides, I need you too," Midoriya said as he broke the kiss. Momo blushed deeply, and the class erupted in cheers as the two took a step forward in their relationship. "Okay, listen up, this might be risky, but I volunteer to go in there and defuse the situation," Midoriya announced. The heroes and police stared at him in disbelief. "Kid, you don't have a hero's license yet, leave this to the pros," Mount Lady stated. "Oh, what are you going to do, wait for the right hero with the right quirk to show up?" "I'm not doing that," Midoriya retorted. "Do you have a better idea, kid?" Gunhead interjected. "In fact, I do," Midoriya smirked, starting to summon some animatronics. Behind him appeared Nightmare, Nightmare Goldie, Ennard, Springtrap, Lolbit, and Circus Baby. The heroes took a step back, getting into a defensive stance. "Kids, stay back," shouted Endeavor as he arrived with Hound Dog. "Why should we?" Bakugo shot back. "Kids, he's dangerous. Get away from him." Hound Dog yelled, rushing toward Midoriya. As he swung at him, a large figure stepped in front of Midoriya, catching the punch. Hound Dog looked up at the towering figure, cowering in fear. It was a 7-foot-tall robot with 3 legs, 4 arms, one ending in a hook, red eyes, and a bare head topped with a black top hat. "Creation, calm down, he won't do anything. Anyway, listen up, I'm going to send my animatronics in there to get the remaining people out and deal with the hijackers," Midoriya stated. "Kid, that's literally suicide if you go in there," Gunhead pointed out. Midoriya smirked, leaking oil from his eye. "Can't break what's already broken, can you?" he replied, leaving the class questioning the meaning of his words. Suddenly, 60 different animatronics appeared out of nowhere. "Molten is with me while I call the rest of you Tinkins when your time comes. The fun times, toys, glam rock, and rock stars will be evacuating, while the ignited endos, nightmares, phantoms, and withered will attack on my command," Midoriya ordered, and the animatronics began to follow his instructions. The pro heroes watched as Midoriya confidently directed them, as if they were toys. He then summoned Molten Freddy and climbed onto him. Turning to Momo, he smiled. "I'll make sure I'll be back for you," he promised. Molten started to head toward the ignited and originals. Midoriya spotted Plushtrap. "Oi, Plushtrap, come here." Plushtrap crawled up to him, and Midoriya attached a small camera to him. "Okay, little guy, run around the mall and make sure you record everything," he instructed. Plushtrap rushed into the shopping mall and disappeared. The ignited animatronics and originals positioned themselves at the entrance. Molten climbed the wall of the building and entered through an open window. Meanwhile, Momo rushed into the building, hoping not to be spotted, but to her disappointment, Bonnie caught her in the act. As Midoriya and Molten walked through the halls of the mall, the Greenit was on high alert, ready to strike or fend off an attack. Molten, however, was being clumsy, crawling behind him and crashing into multiple pillars. "Molten, get ready to fight back. I think I hear someone," Midoriya ordered. At the end of the tunnel, pleas for mercy from civilians echoed. Midoriya rushed down the hall, surprising the terrorists. "What the hell?" one of them shouted, aiming at the nightmare wielder. Unfortunately for him, Midoriya tackled him and knocked him unconscious. Molten jumped on another, neutralizing him as well. "Don't worry, you guys are safe now. Follow her outside," Midoriya stated as Circus Baby appeared. "What about you, kid?" an elderly woman asked, concern in her voice. "Don't worry, miss. I still have to stop the rest of the terrorists and save the other civilians still trapped here," Midoriya pointed out, sprinting down the hallway without concern for being detected. Molten stayed with Circus Baby, providing her cover. Suicide Bot, Angel, Blue. Midoriya shouted as he spotted another group of hijackers. He tackled one, slamming a hidden knife into him, while the other three were taken down by the animatronics. This continued until Midoriya reached the center of the mall. He stayed hidden as he saw a large group of people lying on the floor, surrounded by about 20 armed men. "Listen up, if I don't get the money in the next hour, I will start taking them out one by one," the boss of the terrorists shouted over the phone. The police must have contacted him, Midoriya thought. "Okay, kid, hands up and you won't be killed," a voice said behind him. "Well then, I guess I've been caught," Midoriya replied, following the order. He was dragged to the other hostages. Well, looks like we found another target," the boss smirked. Midoriya looked at him with a bored expression, which infuriated the boss. He pulled out his gun and held it to Midoriya's head. "Oi kid, stop acting tough." But still, Midoriya showed no reaction. Bang, the shot echoed outside the mall, causing the hearts of the students and heroes to drop. Momo fell to her knees, starting to cry. "That's all you got?" Midoriya questioned, his eyes shadowed. The terrorist boss took a step back, trembling. "Nightmare," Midoriya said quietly. The man holding the gun fell to the ground beside him. The boss was shocked as he realized what had happened. "Now it's my turn," Midoriya said, gazing up, both pupils white. Nightmare emerged from behind him. "Time to make your nightmares a reality," they declared as more animatronics appeared behind them. More and more animatronics and civilians emerged from the mall, some injured while others were traumatized. Outside, screams of pain and agony filled the air. The police removed their hats, saluting to honor what they thought was Midoriya's sacrifice. "Guys, I don't think Midoriya is dead. If he were, his animatronics would probably disappear," Todoroki stated. "The peppermint is right. If he was dead, which I highly doubt given his power and skill, the traps would have vanished," Vanny pointed out. The class wondered what she meant by that. Back with Midoriya, he was face to face with the leader of the bomb attack. The other terrorists lay scattered on the floor around them. "Ennard," Midoriya called out. The wired robot dropped down from above, grabbing the boss with his wires and pulling him close. "Come on, let's head out." "We got everything we came for," Midoriya pointed out, making his way back outside. "I just hope that man is okay. He seemed to have really angered the kid," one of the rescued people said, piquing the curiosity of one of the pro-heroes. "What do you mean by that?" questioned Mount Lady. "Well, when he arrived, he was held at gunpoint and didn't even flinch. He wasn't intimidated, which made the leader furious. He shot the kid right in the head, and the hearts of the class dropped at the news. But that didn't kill him. After that, a dark figure appeared behind him, and then all hell broke loose," the man explained. "Those are the perks of being immortal," Vanny chimed in. Now, Vanessa, you don't want to spill all my secrets, do you, dear sis?" Midoriya's sudden appearance caught the heroes and the class off guard. "Some things are better left unknown," he smirked. Behind him was Ennard, holding the leader of the terrorist attack. "He's all yours. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to fix some robots." With that, Ennard threw the man in front of the police and followed Midoriya. He picked up Uraraka as Midoriya approached Momo. "Izuku, you have a hole in your head," she exclaimed. Midoriya shrugged and began to heal himself, closing the bullet hole. "Better," he smiled at her, and she nodded slowly. Taking her by the hand, they left, leaving the others standing there speechless. "Well, that just happened," Vanny pointed out before disappearing, followed by the rest of the animatronics. "Well then, better do the same, guys." And with that, Class 1A left the scene, leaving only the heroes and police with questioning looks. As Midoriya left the mall with Momo, he was stopped by Uraraka. "Hey Midoriya. What should I do with Ennard?" she asked. Midoriya noticed Ennard clinging to her. "It's better if you join me and Momo for now. It looks like Ennard doesn't want to leave your side. I'll program him to protect you and adjust his aggressiveness so he doesn't cause any trouble," he pointed out. "Really? You'll let me keep him?" Uraraka's eyes sparkled. "Yeah, as long as he's in good condition, I won't worry about him." "That's so kind of you," she beamed. As they made their way to Aizawa's residence, Momo started to drift off. Midoriya caught her before she could fall completely off Funtime Freddy's shoulders. He signaled Freddy to disappear and carried Momo in a bridal style until they reached the house. Uraraka knocked on the door for Midoriya. After a short while, Aizawa opened the door. "There you." He was caught off guard by the sight of Momo sleeping in Midoriya's arms, with Uraraka close behind him on top of Ennard. "Before you give me a hard time, let me at least place her in my bed." "It was a long day for all of us," Midoriya whispered, trying not to wake her. As he came out of his room, he looked at Ennard and Uraraka, who were hanging from the ceiling. "Ennard, get down here. I need to start your changes," he ordered. "Okay, can you tell me what happened at the shopping mall? I leave you guys alone for one day, and a whole shopping mall gets bombed." Aizawa was furious. "Calm down, Shota. Izuku handled everything, so no one was seriously hurt," Midoriya said as he emerged from the kitchen. "I second that," Uraraka interjected. "Don't say it, Uraraka," Midoriya warned as he peeked out of Ennard. "Sorry, Aizu, but he got shot." Vanny appeared, eliciting shocked looks. "Izuku, what does Vanessa mean?" the two pro-heroes wanted to know. "Oh, it's nothing," he stated as he came out of Ennard, tilting his head and tapping it until a bullet fell out of his ear. "Here, that's what she meant." "Okay, Uraraka, he's done. You can take him home now," the nightmare welder said. "Wait, you're giving her Ennard?" Aizawa was shocked. "Yeah, I programmed him to protect her and listen to her commands. I also dialed down his aggressiveness so he doesn't cause any chaos," Midoriya said as he bid farewell to his classmate and went to his room. Seeing Momo peacefully sleeping, he smiled to himself. He grabbed some clothes and asked Midnight to change Momo into something comfortable. After he re-entered the room, he lay down next to the sleeping girl and took her into his arms. Unknown to him, Momo was awake and turned toward him, cuddling up. "Hey Aizu. About what happened earlier," Momo said, catching him off guard. "Yeah, what about it?" he smiled as she buried her face into his chest. I was just wondering. What are we now? After the kiss?" she asked shyly. "What do you want us to be, Momo?" he questioned back. Momo glanced up at him, and as their eyes locked, Midoriya gave her a heartwarming smile. Her heart skipped a beat as she leaned closer and kissed him softly. "I want us to be together. You and me. Till the end," she said, looking up at him. "I'd like that," he replied, breaking the kiss. She smiled and nestled back into his chest, drifting off to sleep. Midoriya followed suit. As they slept, Aizawa and Midnight glanced at the two. Aizawa felt proud, while Midnight was internally freaking out and squealing, taking several photos of the cuddling pair. The next morning, the two lovebirds were still peacefully asleep until they were jolted awake by Present Mike storming into the house with his usual loudness. Both Midoriya and Momo jolted out of bed and hit the floor. "Freaking hell, Mike!" Midoriya shouted. "Sorry about that, I completely forgot that he wakes us up like that, or all of us would still be sleeping." He glanced down at Momo, who was on top of him. "It's fine, I guess I need to get used to it when I stay overnight at your place." She smiled at him, pecked his lips, and started to get ready. Midoriya did the same shortly after. As they both entered the kitchen, they saw Aizawa strangling Mike. "Hey, leave some for me." Midoriya jumped in. Unfortunately, he was caught back in Momo's arms as she cuddled into the back of his neck. "Stay, I'm still sleepy," she demanded. You two look so cute together," Midnight exclaimed. "It's about time you two got together. It was either waiting or glitch trap hypnotizing one of you," Vanny pointed out, smiling at the two. "Whoa, Vanny, I never thought you would look so appealing without your mask," Momo complimented her. Thanks, Momo," she smiled back. "Anyway, today's no school, so you two can do what you want," Aizawa pointed out. Midoriya and Momo looked at each other. He could tell Momo was plotting something. "Whatever it is you're plotting, don't even think about it," he stated. "Nope, too late. We're having a family dinner with my parents, like it or not," she pointed out. Aizawa had a mischievous grin, and Mike was snickering behind him. "What are you smirking at, Mr. Aizawa?" "You and Midnight are coming as well," Midoriya added. Aizawa's expression changed as he paled. Mike was now on the floor laughing at Aizawa's reaction, while Midnight was already planning what to wear. Since you already have everything, we're going to meet my parents now, Aizu, Momo said, and with that, she called her driver and dragged Midoriya out of the house. Midoriya was sitting in one of Momo's limousines, placed in front of her as she cuddled up into his neck. They were on their way to the Yayorozu household. Momo, can you let go of me? I'm a bit uncomfortable right now. Midoriya tried to escape her grasp. No, you're staying here until I'm done cuddling, she retorted. He sighed in defeat and accepted it. The ride to her house wasn't anything special, but Midoriya was amazed at how big her house was. Every time I come to your place, I forget how rich you are, Momo, he pointed out. Silly, how can you forget every time? I mean, we've had our fair share of encounters here, haven't we? She giggled. As they arrived at the front doors of the Yayorozu estate, they were greeted by Natsu, who was impatiently jumping around the front door. As the two stepped out of the car, Natsu tackled Midoriya. Midoriya, it's good to see you again, he excitedly said. It's good to see you again, Natsu. How are you? Did you keep your promise? Midoriya was happy to see the ball of energy again. The three of them entered the Yayorozu estate and went to the living room, where they met Momo's parents. Young lady, where have you been last night? Do you know how worried I was after I found out you were at the mall? Her mother was furious. Momo, do you know how much wine I had to drink to calm my nerves? Her father pointed out. Yeah, about that, she was with me last night, and I didn't have the number to call you, so I couldn't inform you. Midoriya stepped in. The two looked at Midoriya and understood but caught him off guard. Era, did you guys use protection? Ms. Yayorozu smiled at the two teenagers. Momo exploded into a deep blush, and Midoriya was at a loss for words. Mother, please restrain yourself. We didn't do anything of that kind. Momo shouted. Midoriya, I hope you take responsibility if you get my daughter P-Arginin-T, Mr. Yayorozu pointed out, making Momo go an even deeper shade of red. Father, would you stop? Momo demanded. Unknown to them, Midoriya was having an internal breakdown. Suddenly, Chika appeared and slapped Midoriya on the back of his head, breaking him out of his thoughts. What the hell? Midoriya looked at the robotic chicken with confusion. She had similarities to the Statue of Liberty. Midoriya and the Yayorozu looked at her, blinking twice. What the? Never mind. Midoriya didn't question it. So you two, what happened at the mall? All we know is that there was a terrorist attack, and an hour later, they were all dead, Mr. Yayorozu questioned. I did it, Midoriya stated plainly. He received surprised stares. Why, you did what? Ms. Yayorozu stuttered. I did it. I killed them, and I would do it again if someone brought Momo into danger. I got myself shot, stabbed, and thrown into multiple walls to protect her and keep her out of danger, Midoriya stated. Momo realized what he had gone through. So the hole in your head from yesterday was a bullet hole? She stuttered. Hey, look at me. He gently cupped her cheek, and she leaned in, trying not to freak out. I would do anything just to keep you safe. Besides, I didn't really kill them. They just got scared to the point of landing in a 2-day coma. He embraced her in a heartwarming hug. And if I really need to kill someone, then I would, just to keep you safe, Angel. He gave her a soft kiss on her forehead. Did you two finally get together? Ms. Yayorozu chimed in. Yeah, we're together now, isn't that right, Emokai? Midoriya teased, earning a blush in response. That's nice to hear. But swear to God, if you hurt her, I'm going to hunt you down, understand, Izuku? Mr. Yayorozu pointed out, to which Midoriya nodded in agreement. I wouldn't even forgive myself if I hurt her, he replied. Suddenly, there was a power outage and everything went black. Nightmares! Midoriya screamed, and with newfound night vision, he saw his nightmare animatronics standing around them in a protective circle. Nightmare Springy, hunt them down. Whoever doesn't belong to the Yayorozu staff, don't harm them. Marion, join him, he ordered. The two nightmares broke loose and disappeared from his sight. A couple of minutes later, a loud scream pierced the silence as the power returned, illuminating the room and revealing a horrifying sight. Springtrap, Circus Baby, Ball Aura, Shadow Freddy, Nightmare, Nightmare Goldie, and a corpse stood before them. God. Midoriya was furious. Get out of the suit, William. The same goes for you too, Clara, Lizzie, Chris, he commanded. The Yayorozu looked on in confusion as the 4 animatronics began to fade away, revealing themselves as humans. It looked like a family reunion. Izuku, what is the meaning of this? Mr. Yayorozu asked, bewildered. Oh, those people are my real family, Midoriya said, walking over to them and subtly changing his appearance. His green and black hair now had a few purple highlights, his right eye remained black, and his left turned purple instead of the green emerald it had been. We are the Aftons, they introduced themselves in unison. The Yayorozu stared at them, shocked and struggling to process this newfound information. Izuku, if they are animatronics, does that mean you? Momo stuttered, trying to accept the truth. Midoriya approached her. Hey, calm down. I'm not an animatronic like they are. I can control and summon them because I'm alive and always will be. For you, he said, pulling her into a hug. But if I may ask, if they can turn into animatronics, is that their quirk? And why is he purple? Mr. Yayorozu inquired. How about you look up the Afton family? Midoriya suggested as he settled onto the couch, his family joining him. Michael, I suggest you stand because Ennard isn't here, Midoriya stated. If you hadn't given your second girlfriend Ennard, I wouldn't be in this state, now would I? Michael replied, a hint of annoyance in his voice. Midoriya blushed slightly at the mention of Uraraka. Mr. Yayorozu began researching the Aftons on his phone, his expression paling as he read the first sentence. The Afton family, also known as the family that fell into insanity, or the immortal family. His gaze shot up to Midoriya, disbelief etched on his face. Don't mind us, just continue, William said, casually playing with a knife. Mr. Yayorozu continued reading. Chris Afton, the first one to die, died due to getting his jaw bitten off. Elizabeth Afton went missing. What is this absurdity? He shouted. That's our family history, Mr. Yayorozu, Clara smiled softly. Clara Afton, he continued, died due to a car crash. William Afton died due to spring lock failure. And the Afton twins, Michael and Izuku Afton, one being immortal and the other scooped? What is scooped? He questioned. Getting your organs scooped out by a machine that is actually made for taking out the endoskeleton of animatronics. Basically, I'm a walking corpse, the reason I'm purple, Michael explained as calmly as he could. So, all of you are dead? Momo stuttered. No, all of us except Izuku, Lizzie reassured her with a smile. You don't need to worry, your boyfriend is still alive. Just because we are dead doesn't mean he is. Glitchtrap, you piece of work, where are you? Vanny appeared, and as she turned around, a knife flew past her head, barely grazing the side of her mask. Nessa, what was that just now? William stared at her, only to receive a slap on the head from Clara. William, behave yourself. We are guests at another family's house. Don't you dare start throwing knives around, she warned with a threatening smile, to which he nodded. Sorry, Clara, for the inconvenience, but that trash bunny took away my knives, Vanny pointed out. Suddenly, there was a knock on the front door. Looks like your brother is here, William, Midoriya stated, summoning Moondrop. Get the door, please, he ordered. Mr. and Ms. Yayorozu were creeped out by the sight of the eerie, smiling moon-shaped robot. To make it simple, you could say that's their quirk, to keep it a secret. But yet again, I got regeneration and immortality. By the way, great boy, Midoriya began, but Michael punched him in the stomach. What was that for? Midoriya exclaimed. That's for giving Ennard to your second girlfriend and for calling me a grape. You know exactly why I need that burned spaghetti robot, Michael hissed back. Midoriya rolled his eyes and called Uraraka. Hey, Uraraka, can you come to Momo's place? I need Ennard, he asked. Yeah, sure, she replied before ending the call. Better, your boyfriend is coming, he smirked at Michael. He's not my boyfriend, Michael blushed. What the hell is going on here? Aizawa questioned aloud as he entered the living room and spotted William, realization hitting him. So, karma finally got to you, I see, Aizawa remarked, not amused. What can I say? Going insane after losing 2 children, my wife drifting off a cliff, and starting a mass murder. Yeah, karma finally got to me, Shota, William replied. Well, at least it's good to see you back to sanity again, William. Mr. Aizawa. May I ask, how do you know this person? Ms. Yayorozu questioned. He's my uncle, to put it simply, but that's not the point right now. We're here for a family dinner, so let's put all of this aside and have a little fun, shall we? Midoriya answered. Suddenly, Ennard dropped down from the ceiling with Uraraka on his back. God damn it, Ennard. I told you not to climb along the ceiling, she scolded him. About time you showed up. Now get inside of me so I can walk properly, Michael demanded, pulling up his shirt to reveal a large hole in his chest. Ennard let go of Uraraka and climbed into him, acting like nothing happened. As Michael's skin color returned, he let out a sigh of relief. Okay, we're ready now. Are we really acting like nothing happened just now? And who are those people, Midoriya? Uraraka felt uneasy at the sight of Ennard climbing into Michael. Oh, this is his family. And since you're here, would you like to join us for dinner? Momo stated. Uraraka nodded in response. As they were eating and talking at the dinner table, Ms. Yayorozu got an idea and started smirking. Mother, whatever you are thinking, don't you dare do it, Momo demanded. Oh my, what allegations? I'm not plotting anything, dear. I was just thinking, if Midoriya also has romantic feelings for your friend, she pointed out. Right, that's my cue to get out of here, he said as he got up. I don't have feelings for Uraraka, we're just good friends and help each other out. I agree. We've known each other since the entrance exam, and I'm grateful to have a friend like him, she smiled. Shota, I'm going home. I'll be on standby if something happens again, the greenette stated as he grabbed Momo's hand. His parents and siblings were already gone. Oh, and you might want to hold Namuri back a little. She gets drunk fast on wine, he smirked and teleported home. It's Monday morning, and Class 1A was discussing their last event from the weekend. The mall had been on lockdown, and they didn't notice the news reporters around them as they planned their next move. Fortunately, everything was recorded, and now they were the talk of all Japan. Did you guys see? We were on TV. Hagakure stated excitedly. Yeah, this is so cool. I got recognized on the way here by so many people. Kirishima added joyfully. The whole class was buzzing about being seen on TV. Would you guys shut up already? It's nothing new to be on TV, it's just annoying as hell, Midoriya hissed, floating over his seat next to Vanny. And I'd rather tone it down a bit. Momo is sleeping, he glared at them. They could see that the two of them had become a couple over the weekend, with Momo sleeping on top of Midoriya as they spoke. Oh, shut up. Only because you were on TV a couple of times now, Momo chimed in. Midoriya just rolled his eyes. A few minutes later, Aizawa entered the classroom. Okay, we are going on a trip today. Put on your hero suits and meet me in front of the UA gates in 10 minutes. With that, Midoriya teleported to the locker rooms, sending Momo to the girls' lockers at the same time. As he changed, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to go wrong. As the class gathered at the front gates, Aizawa leaned against a bus. Get in and sit wherever you like, he instructed, sitting next to the bus driver. They complied and ignored Ida, who was trying to order them around. Midoriya teleported to the back of the bus with Momo and continued their cuddle session. Okay class, we are going to USJ today, Aizawa started. Are we actually going to Universal Studios Japan? Kaminari, Ashido, and Kirishima shouted excitedly but stopped when they saw Aizawa's annoyed expression. Now, as I was saying before I was interrupted by someone, we are going to the USJ, also known as the Unforeseen Simulation Joint, and will be doing rescue training, Aizawa finished. The bus ride was nothing special, as the class was their usual loud, chaotic selves. Hey Midoriya, Azui called out. He gave her a glance of approval. I was wondering, what is your quirk all about, with the summoning of your robots and all? She questioned. Oh, I can answer that, Vanny appeared. His quirk is based on a real-life encounter that happened a couple of years back. The animatronics he can control are from an old dining chain that was popular back in the day, but because of some incidents, the company went into bankruptcy. The fact that this idiot got this quirk is that he belongs to the family that owned the business, she explained. So, if your quirk is based on a real occurrence, what exactly happened back then? Ashido wondered. That's a thing for another time, we're here, Aizawa pointed out, clearly not wanting the class to know about his brother's dark past. As Class 1A exited the bus, they were greeted by 13. Midoriya thought to himself, Ochako really loves her, doesn't she? As he saw her fangirling hard over 13. After a bit of chit-chat, they entered the facility. 13 explained some things about quirks, their ups and downs, how they carry great responsibility, and how dangerous they can be. After a while of constant explanations, Midoriya noticed a purple mist appearing in the middle of the facility. A group of figures emerged from the mist. Look guys, they even have fake villains here, Kaminari pointed out. That caught the attention of 13 and Eraserhead. Stay back kids. Eraser will deal with it. Kaminari, try contacting UA, 13 instructed. It's jammed, I can't get through, he replied. Ida, go get the teachers, 13 ordered. Ida rushed out of the USJ and made his way to UA. As Aizawa was about to jump into battle, Ennard grabbed him by the waist and pulled him back. A purple aura surrounded Midoriya. He wasn't having any of it. As he closed his eyes, Vanny realized what he was doing and got excited. Hello you, we are the League of Villains. A man covered with hands introduced himself. Nightmares, ignited, fun times, glam rocks, Midoriya shouted as he opened his eyes. He walked to the edge of the staircase. The animatronics lined up behind him. Let's show them a security breach, he smirked. His right eye turned black and his left turned purple. Creation, Nightmare, and Goldie are with me, the rest. Go have some fun, he ordered. The animatronics charged down toward the villains. Aizu, can I join them? Vanny asked excitedly. Go for it, William would be proud, he answered. Vanny didn't hesitate and teleported right in front of one of the villains, jamming her knife between his eyes. The class, on the other hand, was scared by the sight before them. Blood was splattered everywhere. They couldn't have imagined Midoriya's robots to be this brutal. Midoriya noticed a figure cloaked in purple mist. Just as he disappeared, Midoriya's eyes shot wide open. Nightmare, Goldie, stop him, he ordered. As the mist-covered person appeared and attempted to introduce himself, he was grabbed by his metal-plated neck brace and slammed into the concrete floor. The class was shocked to see him appear out of nowhere. Nightmare held him down while Goldie stood beside him, staring him down. There was a sudden scream. The class watched in horror as they saw the villain struggle. Izuku, what are they doing? Uraraka questioned him. He didn't bother looking at her. They are showing him his nightmares. They aren't called nightmares for nothing, are they? He answered. Izuku, I think you should call them back, or you're going to have to explain the situation, Aizawa pointed out. As Midoriya glanced over the USJ, he could clearly see that most of the villains were defeated. Vanish, he ordered. The nightmares, fun times, and glam rocks disappeared. The ignited, on the other hand, made their way back to Midoriya. Why you? I will kill you all, kill him. Handyman shouted. A large figure with a bird head rushed out behind him, fixated on Midoriya. Aizu, get out of there. Momo shouted from behind. He, however, didn't move an inch, nor did he seem to care. As the creature struck down toward him, a dust cloud appeared at impact. And oh! Momo tried to run to him but was held back by Ennard. She started sobbing and struggling under his grip. As the dust settled, the class gasped at the sight. How did he not die? Shouted Handyman. Momo then recalled his words from the night before. You can't break what's already broken, she murmured. What? Jairu overheard. You can't break what's already broken, Momo repeated. Midoriya was holding the fist that was about to strike him down, giving the creature a bored stare. Finish him, Midoriya ordered. Creation grabbed the monster by its face, slashed his hook into its eye, penetrated its stomach with one of his left hands, and bit down into its neck. Heat Wave, the green animatronic summoned. The flaming animatronic jumped onto creation and began to increase his heat. The flames from heat waves spread all over the two animatronics and the monster. As they were distracted by the flames, the hand-covered man rushed at Midoriya and pinned him down. "One false move and the little one dies," he threatened. "My quirk is decay, and if I touch him with all 5 fingers, he will start to disintegrate. So don't think about doing something stupid." "What's your name? We can talk this out," Eraser tried to calm the situation. "I'm Tamura Shigaraki," he replied, tightening his grip around Midoriya's neck. "Okay, Shiga, I wouldn't do that if I were you," Midoriya interrupted. The gazes turned toward his voice, amazed that he wasn't in Shigaraki's grip. "How did you escape?" Shigaraki demanded. "Easy," he said, teleporting right in front of Shigaraki. "I have more power than you think," he smirked. Creation came up from behind and grabbed Shigaraki by his arms, lifting him up so he couldn't escape. Seconds later, there was a loud bang, and the doors at the front entrance were blown off. As the dust cleared, they could see that the teachers and Ida had arrived, shocked by the scene. Midoriya, on the other hand, grabbed Momo and walked to the entrance, past the teachers and into the bus that was waiting to pick them up. "What?" Nizu started. "The hell," Power Loader continued, "happened?" Midnight finished. "Izuku's work," Aizawa said, walking past them with his bored expression, the class following behind him. Creation, Nightmare, Goldie, and the Ignited stood in front of them, holding down the remaining villains while Ennard tangled them up with his wires. "Well, young Midoriya does have a lot of power granted to him, but I think he went a little overboard this time," Midnight said, shaking her head and crossing her arms. All Might's sweat dropped. "Let's just get these villains locked up and head back." "I'm craving soba," Snipe pointed out. "I'm in." "I didn't have lunch yet," 13 chimed in. Like every other school day, Aizawa stood in front of his class, feeling bored and thinking he wasn't getting enough money for what he had to deal with daily. "Okay, listen up. Since there are still 3 weeks until summer camp, we will be working on your stamina today. We'll be doing a race against time. Since we have 20 students and I'm bored, I have invited Class 1B to join us on training ground. You will be put into groups of 5, with one group of 4. The reason for that is..." Aizawa trailed off. "You guys are up against me and my animatronics," Midoriya smirked. The class fell silent, shocked. "So you're telling us 39 students are up against Midoriya?" Kaminari questioned. "Oh, don't worry. It's just a robot with nothing inside, right?" The green-haired boy grinned, knowing exactly what he had planned for his classmates. "All right," the class sweat dropped. After explaining the tasks and how it would play out, they made their way to the training ground, stopping at the changing rooms. As Class 1A waited for Class 1B, Midoriya began summoning some of his animatronics, lowering their aggressiveness levels. When Class 1B arrived, some of the faculty joined them, including Nizu, Midnight, and All Might. "Hello, young ones," All Might greeted. "Now, Izuku, this is training, so don't try to scare your classmates too much," Midnight said, playfully pulling on Midoriya's cheek. "Oh, I know it's training, but Shota said I could have a little fun with them," Midoriya replied, rubbing his cheek. Midnight glared at Aizawa, both knowing not to provoke an angry woman. The other students were nervous about what Midoriya was truly capable of, except for Momo, who got cocky again. "Oh please, as if this piece of junk could do anything against me. As if I would be scared of a cupcake," he scoffed. Just then, Nightmare Freddy approached and startled him. Momo dropped to the floor, visibly shaken. The rest of the students laughed. "Freddy, that's enough," Midoriya called out. "You're number 1 on my hit list," Nightmare Freddy declared, causing Momo to pale and faint. "Moving on, I will explain your tasks again. Since my class already knows what to do, but knowing them, half of them probably didn't listen. You will be split into teams of 5, with one team of 4. Each team has 20 minutes to escape Midoriya's robots down there," Aizawa said, pointing at the maze of piping behind him. "If one of the animatronics catches or scares you, you're out. There will be 5 different sets of animatronics you need to escape from. The originals, which consist of 5 animatronics, the toys and withered, which contain 12, the phantoms, which have 8, the nightmares, which include 10, and lastly, the fun times with 24 robots. In total, you need to escape from 59 animatronics. Both classes exchanged incredulous glances. "Are you crazy?" one shouted. "Nah, I'm in stable condition," Aizawa replied with a grin. All Might, Nizu, and Midnight were curious about how the students would fare against midoriya. "Well, I won't say they will be facing 59. I'd rather say they'll be facing 60, midoriya added, smirking as he summoned something unexpected. "Corrupted euphoria, come here." In front of them stood a towering animatronic, resembling a twisted creation. Its lower jaw jutted forward, revealing multiple spiked teeth. One eye glowed red, while the other was absent. It had 4 arms, one of which was a hook, and its bulky appearance suggested it was a corrupted version of an animatronic. "Izuku, don't you think this is a little overboard?" Momo asked, concerned. "Oh, don't worry, darling. They know you, and since they are self-aware, they probably won't attack you or Uraraka," he smiled at her. "Hey, that's not fair," some of Class 1B complained, but midoriya ignored them. "Izuku, what did we talk about?" Vanny approached him. "What? It doesn't have a soul, so it won't go on a rampage," midoriya retorted, shocking both classes and the teachers. Aizawa facepalmed himself. "Chill, it doesn't have a host, so it can't do anything." "I haven't set its AI yet," midoriya explained. "Inside yet so it wouldn't go on a rampage. I programmed it to only chase them. They get a 5-minute head start, so I'd advise you to use it wisely. All of you get a flashlight and a shocker to defend yourselves from my creations," the Nightmare Welder explained. Springtrap came up behind midoriya and held his knife up to him, motioning if he could attack. "Really?" Midoriya raised an eyebrow at him, crossing his arms. William emerged from Springtrap and shocked the students. "What?" It was a genuine question. "Can I attack or not?" William retorted, only to be hit at the back of his head by ball aura. "This is training, William. We are not here to harm Izuku's classmates," Clara pointed out as she came out of ball aura, glancing over at her husband. Shadow Freddy appeared next to midoriya. "You guys do know that his class now knows we possess these, don't you?" Chris stated as he turned himself human. Midoriya let out an annoyed sigh and shook his head. Michael appeared and approached his brother, placing a hand on his shoulder and giving him a reassuring smile. "Sup, great boy?" Midoriya chuckled. "Sup, green bunny," Michael retorted, pulling up his shirt. The class and teachers were shocked to see what was underneath. "Why do you have a hole in your chest?" Shiozaki questioned him. "I think I'm gonna be sick," Kendo stated, quickly turning around to avoid the sight. "Do you mind helping Uraraka?" Michael asked, unfazed. Uraraka walked up to him and did the unexpected. "Uraraka!" Class 1A shouted. "Get out of him, Ennard. You need to participate in the training regime," she exclaimed, trying to pull Ennard out. Hey, be careful. I don't want another broken rib, okay?" Michael whined. "Get out of my brother, Ennard, or I'm discarding all the exotic butter," the greenette threatened. That was enough for Ennard to shoot out of Michael's chest and tackle Uraraka. "Ow!" he shouted in pain, slowly turning purple. "Ennard, get off me. You're covered in something," Uraraka pointed out. "You wouldn't dare." Ennard stared at midoriya. "Try me burnt spaghetti," he retorted. The two began to argue until Ennard started jump-scaring him, prompting midoriya to threaten to disassemble him. Class 1A and B looked on, shocked at how casually they treated the situation. "Would you two shut up and prepare instead of yelling?" Aizawa shouted at them. Both stopped and glanced at him. "You're not part of this," they hissed back, continuing their argument. Aizawa sighed in defeat and continued his lesson. "Okay, since we're complete, let's start the race," Aizawa pointed out. "The first 5 people who will participate are Monoma, Awaze, Kirishima, Aoyama, and Ishido," Vlad King called out. "Izuku, send your bots to their area and get them ready. And no harming, especially you, Springtrap," Aizawa warned as midoriya stationed his animatronics in their respective areas. Both classes were sweating, not wanting to face euphoria. "Are you sure this is safe, Sensei?" I mean, Midoriya's animatronics can be intimidating sometimes, Ishido questioned. I'm a bit skeptical about today's training, Aways pointed out. As Midoriya teleported back to them, he gave a thumbs up, signaling that everything was ready. I'm quite sure. Now go down there and prepare yourselves, their teachers instructed, clearly unfazed by their concerns. As Momo, Aways, Kirishima, Aoyama, and Ishido arrived at the entrance of the maze, they had puzzled looks on their faces. I thought this was a maze, not a family diner, Kirishima questioned aloud. Looks like we have to get in and out in 20 minutes without getting caught, Aways pointed out. The 5 students exchanged glances, swallowing hard. Ishido opened the door, entering slowly and glancing around, with Momo, Kirishima, Aways, and Aoyama following suit shortly after. The teachers and the 2 classes observed from above, noting that only those 5 needed to do the test since they scored the lowest on their last assessment. I'm still surprised that Kaminari passed the test, Jiru stated. Hey, I might fry my brain every time I use my quirk, but I'm not stupid. It's just a persona I put up, he retorted. Nevertheless, you are lucky I spared you. It looks like they're in quite the pickle down there, Aizawa pointed out. The 5 students were on the run from Foxy and Mangle, who were chasing after them. Well, they have to learn somehow, and to be honest, Momo definitely deserved this, Kendo chuckled. Agreed, both classes stated. They were pulled from their small talk as they heard a small explosion behind them. Gosh, Glitchtrap, I need my wrench, Midoriya exclaimed, having triggered a jump scare while tinkering with Euphoria. Izuku, is everything all right? Momo asked, worried about her boyfriend. Everything is fine. Stay down, you piece of junk. Couldn't be better, Momo, he smiled at her while battling the animatronic. Both classes and the teachers were amazed that this 16-year-old was unfazed by a 10-foot robot clearly designed to attack. Midoriya dodged Euphoria's hook and the other 2 arms reaching for him. He slid through the animatronic's legs, used the wall behind him as a jump pad, and with added momentum, plunged his wrench into the animatronic's nape, taking it out of commission. What did I tell you? Glitchtrap appeared behind him with an "I told you so" expression. Stop looking at me like that, it's creepy, Midoriya retorted, feeling uneasy under Glitchtrap's gaze. Aizu, are you okay? You're bleeding, Momo said as she approached him. I'm fine, it'll heal, he assured her with a smile. William is acting up again, Aizawa interrupted their moment. Come on, Dad. If you don't stop, I'll destroy your toaster, Midoriya shouted from above. That was enough for Springtrap to stop chasing the students and turn his attention to Midoriya. You wouldn't dare. Try me, the 2 of them yelled back and forth, the distance between them amplifying their voices. Dad, both classes realized what the green-haired boy had said. That's a topic for another time. Anyway, it looks like they're done, Aizawa chimed in. How about you give them the surprise you have waiting for them? The tired teacher smirked. Midoriya started grinning and teleported down into the maze. He whispered something to Golden Freddy. When he returned, all they could see was the animatronics falling limp. Moments later, they heard a loud scream as Momo, Kirishima, Ishido, Aoyama, and Aways ran for their lives. Unfortunately, the observers couldn't see what was chasing them. When they turned to Aizawa and Midoriya, the only reaction they received was their mischievous grins. After Class 1A and 1B had their fun with Momo, Kirishima, Ishido, Aoyama, and Aways, Kendo suggested they go to the mall to spend time together and get to know each other better. Both classes agreed, but Momo was being his usual self, and it didn't look good for him. So, Momo, care to repeat that? Izuku, stop releasing your bloodlust. It's worse than Williams, Vanny pointed out. Hey, you're not part of this, the green-haired boy hissed back. Momo, on the other hand, was terrified. The nightmares and draw kills were out for him. I wonder, should we tear off his head or his arms first? Nightmare questioned. I'd say we start from the bottom and work our way up, suggested Killdraw Bonnie. No, we take a limb each and see who is the strongest. The first one who rips off a limb is the winner, chimed in Killdraw Foxy. Midoriya, please. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Just call your robots back. Monoma cried out. Hey, this is on you for insulting young MSDR's partner, Chika stated from the back, preparing to throw Carl at Monoma. Izuku, either you stop or there will be no cuddling when we get back home, Momo threatened. Disappear, the cinnamon roll ordered, walking up to Monoma, grabbing him by his tie, and pulling him in close. There won't be a next time, understand? He threatened with a serious tone. Yes, please forgive me. That's enough, Midoriya-kun. We have more important business to discuss. Who are the class president and vice president? Kendo calmed him and tried to change the topic. Yayorozu is president and Midoriya is vice president, Kaminari answered. Okay Momo, how about it? It would be for the better since our classes don't know each other yet. Well, Itsuka, I'd say it is a splendid idea. I think we should go somewhere else instead of the mall. I'm not in the mood to deal with criminals again, and besides, it's getting hotter, so why not do something fun instead of shopping? Midoriya cut her off. Class 1A agreed with Midoriya, especially after the terrorist attack they had been involved in. Most of them wanted to keep their distance from the mall. Tomorrow is Friday, so why not go to the beach? Suggested a voice behind them. Both classes turned to see who had spoken and were surprised by the source. Shota, do you really think that's a good idea? Midnight questioned. I don't really care. Besides, if something happens, Izuku will take care of it. What do you think, Nizu? The sleep-driven teacher pointed out. I have no objections. Izuku is capable of taking out an army of villains, so I don't mind, the Chimera stated. Both classes cheered with excitement. They parted ways and started heading home. The girls from both classes formed a large group, while the boys held a bro meeting in Class 1A to discuss some culture. Everyone was present except for Midoriya. Hey, has anyone seen Midobro? Kiri questioned. He went home since Yayorozu wanted to go shopping with him for a bathing suit, Tokoyami pointed out. And that was the spark that started the debate among the girls about who would look the best in a bathing suit. Tokoyami shook his head in disappointment because they all seemed to overlook the importance of respecting themselves. Meanwhile, Izuku and Momo were sitting in one of Momo's limousines on their way to the mall. Do we really have to buy you another swimsuit? He pouted, feeling a bit irritated. Well, of course, I need one. Or do you not want to see your girlfriend in a bikini? She teased. No, I didn't mean it like that. I just don't want others looking at you, he stammered, blushing. Momo giggled at his antics and pulled him into a hug, showering him with kisses. Her driver, seeing this, rolled up the rear window to give them some privacy. As they walked through the aisles of the shop, Momo mainly used Izuku as a clothing rack to hold her things. Momo, is all this stuff really necessary? He sighed. Well, of course it is. I need all of this, she smiled at him. Izuku looked around and spotted something intriguing. It was a bench that seemed to call out to him. Without hesitation, he excused himself from Momo and went over to it. "Oh, this is heaven," he exclaimed, only to hear a small giggle from Momo. "Oh, come on, Izuku, it's not that bad, is it?" she smiled. "No, it isn't," he replied with a grin. Momo turned her attention back to shopping for the perfect swimsuit while Izuku checked his messages. He shook his head while reading the debate the boys had over which girl looked the hottest in a swimsuit. Thankfully, they hadn't discussed Momo, knowing he would defend her fiercely if they did. The girls had created a separate group chat for their own discussions, which wasn't the best topic for that chat. "Girls, you do know we can read this, right?" one of them messaged. Izuku chuckled to himself at how quickly they changed the subject. When he looked up for Momo, he spotted her being approached by a couple of guys. He summoned his guardian spirit and went over to her, pulling her back into his chest. "You okay, honey?" he asked. Momo caught on quickly. "Of course, darling," she replied, pecking his lips. The two guys watching were clearly annoyed. "Hey, how about you dump this wimp and hang out with real men? We'll show you a good time," one of them said, but the only response they received was the snapping of Izuku's fingers. His guardian appeared beside them. Unfortunately, one of the store employees noticed the situation and intervened. "Hey, Mr. Midoriya, could you not cause any trouble in our store?" He tried to calm things down. "Vanny, keep an eye on them, and if they cause trouble, finish the job." Come on, creation, we're leaving, Izuku said, his expression serious. As the day ended, Momo, Izuku, and Vanny were waiting for their ride home. Momo hesitated before asking, "Hey, Izuku, are you also an animatronic? Please answer honestly." Izuku looked into her onyx-colored eyes, realizing he needed to reveal his secrets eventually, but this caught him off guard. They stood in silence, exchanging glances until Vanny, sensing the moment, discreetly stepped away to give them privacy. Can we talk about this when we get home? I'll explain everything, he finally said, uncertainty in his voice. He was afraid of losing her. Okay, but then tell me everything, she replied with a small smile. They stood there, looking at each other until their ride arrived. Once in her room, Izuku felt nervous and scared, thoughts racing through his mind. Momo watched him with concern and gently shook him to bring him back to reality. So, are you an animatronic, Izuku? She asked directly. His eyes widened and he swallowed hard. He stood up, his hair casting a shadow over his face as he began to glow with a bright light. When the light dimmed, Momo's eyes adjusted, and tears started rolling down her cheeks. No. I refuse to believe this, she choked on her words. Izuku transformed back and tried to comfort her, reaching out. Momo, he said softly, pulling her into his embrace and gently soothing her. He lifted her chin to look into her eyes, hoping to reassure her. Momo, please. You can believe me when I say I'm not dead. But, nor am I alive, Midoriya smiled at her. What do you mean? Momo glanced up at him. You haven't realized it yet, but Lolbit isn't a normal animatronic. And since I died, through him, I'm not human anymore. He drifted off. What do you mean by you're not human anymore? I'm a glitch. Nothing more, nothing less. Before I died, someone messed with Lolbit, and now I'm part of him, he explained. Unfortunately for them, Lolbit showed up. And what? Did we talk about assuming my gender? He complained. And that's how you ruin the moment, you glitch, Midoriya sighed. That earned him a slight chuckle from Momo. Suit yourself. The glitching animatronic shrugged and disappeared. Midoriya gently wiped the remaining water droplets from Momo's face. She closed her eyes and leaned into his embrace, feeling him wrap his arms around her. But then, she noticed something strange. She couldn't feel the bed beneath her. When she opened her eyes again, she was staring right into two green emerald orbs. As she looked around, she realized she was sitting on top of Midoriya, floating above the bed. Hey, how about you close your eyes again and try sleeping a bit? That would ease your mind, Midoriya smiled at her. Okay, she smiled back. Summer camp was something the nightmare wielder wasn't really looking forward to. He was still half asleep because Momo had kept him up all night with her nightmares. Midoriya, or better known as Lolbit, and Momo were standing with Class 1A at the front entrance of UA. Okay, first of all, where is Izuku? And second, this is your last chance to go to the toilet or anything like that. The trip will take about 5 or 6 hours, and we'll take the first break in 2.5 hours, Aizawa pointed out. Lolbit, who was holding Momo in his arms, started glitching, which freaked everyone out. Don't worry about Midoriya, he said we will wait for you at the sea camp, Lolbit pointed out and disappeared with Momo. Oh, he is going to get it if I see him, Aizawa muttered, visibly frustrated. The class was disappointed that he had gotten there before they could, but they were also unaware of where they would be dropped off. When Lolbit and Momo arrived at the meetup point with the wild pussycats, Tiger grabbed Lolbit while Mandalay took Momo. They were surprised to see the two of them show up early. Hey, now don't get overzealous here. We are students from 1A, Lolbit called out. Midoriya separated himself from the glitching animatronic. Hey, let my animatronic go. What gives you the big idea crushing his arms? Now I have to repair them again, Izuku hissed. Zuzu, calm down. I don't think they were expecting us to be here this early. Mr. Aizawa most likely didn't contact them, Momo said as she got out of Mandalay's hold and went over to him. She gave him a peck on the cheek to calm him. I do apologize for him. He gets cranky if someone messes with his robots. I'm Momo Yayorozu, and this is Izuku after midoriya, students from UA, Class 1A Hero course, she introduced them. We are the first ones for the summer camp. I hope you guys have a workshop. Oh, I apologize, we didn't know you would be here this early. But where is the rest of your class? Mandalay questioned. Oh, and we do not have a workshop, but we do have tools and supplies if you need some, she pointed at the shed beside the main building. Midoriya nodded in acceptance. He summoned Funtime Freddy and entered. Tiger and Mandalay went into a fighting stance at the sight of the two Funtime animatronics. Freddy, take Lolbit to the front of the shed, Midoriya instructed. And the same goes for you, Spaghetti Boy. I need to replace your leg springs again because you can't stop causing trouble, he shouted at Ennard. This piqued the curiosity of the hero team. What do you mean by causing trouble? Ragdoll wondered. Don't worry about it, Midoriya stated as he dragged the pile of wires to the shed. Meanwhile, Momo spotted a young boy standing at the front entrance of the main building. She went over to him and kneeled down. Hey, what are you doing here? She smiled at him. The kid ignored her and walked back inside the building. Excuse me, but may I ask who this child belongs to? Oh, that's my nephew Koda. He doesn't like heroes that much, Mandalay pointed out. Midoriya overheard the conversation and summoned Fetch. Okay, little buddy, observe the kid and alert me if he gets into trouble, he ordered the dog-like animatronic. Midoriya looked around, sensing he was being watched. After a few minutes of scanning his surroundings, he shrugged off the feeling and turned his attention back to Lolbit. Unknown to him, a certain blonde was watching him closely. The mysterious person giggled to themselves and vanished back into the woods. Shortly after her disappearance, Vanny appeared, looking displeased. You do know that girl has been following you since you started training at Takoba Beach? She said. I've noticed, but I don't want her to get suspicious of me. I'm keeping it low. But that's besides the point. There is a child here, and I'm guessing he's around 8. Fetch is tailing him, so make sure nothing happens to him. If he gets into trouble, grab him and teleport out of there, the greenette pointed out. The brown, purple, and pink-haired girl nodded in response and started trailing the boy. Meanwhile, Midoriya was still fixing Ennard when he heard chattering behind him. Unknown to him, a very annoyed Aizawa was waiting for him. Midoriya got wrapped in Aizawa's scarf and was pulled toward him. The teacher grabbed him by the collar. Okay, you're going to be cooking dinner for dodging my training trap, Aizawa said. Midoriya sweat dropped at the sight of his angry uncle and nodded in agreement. I'll do it, but there's something we need to discuss, he pointed out, a serious tone in his voice. The two of them walked a bit into the woods until they were out of sight of the others. What is it, Izuku? Aizawa asked. Make sure we have backup. I have a gut feeling that we aren't alone in this. If an attack were to happen here, it could be fatal. I can't summon all of my animatronics to protect everyone. Vanny is already on protection duty with Mandalay's nephew, Izuku explained. I'll inform Nizu to send some pros here. I know that look on your face, and it's never wrong. If we were attacked here, it would ruin the pride of UA, Aizawa stated before walking back. He took out his phone and started making calls. Midoriya, on the other hand, teleported to Momo, who was playing with Koda. The two of them had grown close over time and were enjoying themselves. Midoriya put a finger to his lips and gestured for Koda to be quiet, wanting to spoil the surprise. He slowly sneaked up to his girlfriend. As he was within arm's reach, he jumped at her and pinned her down. They shared a laugh together. Hey kid, join us. It's more fun to have more people, Midoriya smiled at Koda. Izuku never imagined that this summer camp would end like this, but he was glad his gut feeling was right. He stood in front of a flaming copper chloride forest fire, unsure of what to summon or where Koda was. Vanny hadn't responded, and neither had Fetch. The draw kills were occupied with the villains that entered the camp, while the winter animatronics were trying to extinguish the fire, and Sunrise and Moondrop were searching for the other students. This is a disaster, the greenette pointed out. He turned into Lolbit and teleported to Momo, hoping everything was all right with her. Upon arrival, he was swept off his feet and flew through the air, connecting to a big magnet. As he looked around, he saw Momo held at knife point by a blonde girl, Azui hanging from a tree by her hair, and Uraraka lying on the ground with her face covered in blood. This made his blood boil and snapped all his senses into focus. "Euphoria!" he screamed at the top of his lungs. All attention turned to Izuku as he shouted. They slowly saw an animatronic materialize in front of them, standing 10 feet tall. Its lower jaw was pushed forward, revealing multiple spiked teeth. Its right eye glowed red, and it had 4 arms, one of which was a hook. Unlike other creations, it had only 2 legs and a bulky appearance that matched that of a corrupted animatronic. Midoriya glitched off the magnet and appeared beside the villain holding Momo. He grabbed her by the neck and bit into her collarbone, shattering it. Everyone present, including Class 1A and 1B, was shocked to see Izuku Midoriya, one of the friendliest and most peaceful students at UA, commit such an act. He shifted back to his human form, his eyes clouded with rage and annoyance. He held out his right arm into the air, reaching into nothingness. The blonde girl holding Momo at knife point shifted her attention to Izuku and rushed at him. "Let's see this cutie covered in blood," she giggled. As she approached, she lost her momentum and fell to the ground. Those around didn't know what happened, but when they saw their green-haired classmate standing behind the blonde girl, throwing a knife into the air and catching it again, they understood. He had teleported behind her, kicking her in the back and sending her flying. She slid to a halt. He clicked his tongue in annoyance. "Izuku!" Momo ran up to him, tears in her eyes. He embraced her in a heartwarming hug. "Oi, old man, get your butt out here." "Same goes for you too, great boy," he ordered. Momo wondered what he meant by it, but understood when William appeared in front of her with his back turned. "What is it, Izuku?" the serial killer questioned. Michael came out, looking annoyed and dressed in his night guard uniform. "What do you want?" the walking corpse asked. "We are under attack, so..." He trailed off. William understood, and so did Michael. Both of them transformed, with William becoming Springtrap. As he appeared, the villain started to take a few steps back. Michael pulled his shirt up, allowing Ennard to exit his body. Most present felt uneasy at the sight of a 6-foot-tall robot climbing out of him. "Let's frighten them a bit," Michael smirked, transforming into Nightmare Foxy. Midoriya began to grow a creepy grin that frightened Momo. He let go of her and walked over to Euphoria, activating it. The corrupted animatronic stretched to its full height, rolled its shoulders, and slammed its fists together. Just as the 5 of them were about to embark on their little spree, Vanny appeared in front of them, holding Coda and Fetch. Blood stained her clothes, marking her white skirt and gray t-shirt. Her bunny mask was covered in more blood than usual. "I see someone had a little fun," Izuku commented, only to receive a death glare. "You said to follow and protect him, not fight against a villain with a muscle-enhancing quirk," she snapped back. "Plus, I need new knives. The last guy broke most of them." "So, is he dead?" Izuku wondered. "No, I could shake him off though." At that moment, the villain crashed down from above, bloodied and furious. "Muscular!" the surrounding villains shouted. He was blinded by rage and overheard them. "Hey, miss," he started, standing tall. "Our little game isn't over yet," he grinned, staring her down. The villains knew what that meant and began to back away. Vanny and Izuku exchanged glances and nodded slightly. Vanny changed into her bunny costume, and Izuku walked over to Euphoria, merging with it and taking control. Muscular was amazed by the power the green-haired boy possessed and grinned wider. They both assumed a fighting stance, glaring at him, ready to take him down. "Let's show him what it feels like to die," Izuku commented. "Oh, with pleasure, my dear brother," Vanny grinned, her excitement growing. The 2 UA classes, along with their teachers and the villains, backed away from the 3, not wanting to get involved in their fight. Class 1A, along with Aizawa, was surprised to see Izuku controlling the monstrosity he created. But they were pulled from their thoughts by a loud scream nearby. They glanced over to see Springtrap plunging an axe into one of the villains. Uraraka was horrified as she watched Ennard leap from one villain to another, taking them down effortlessly. Suddenly, they were all teleported a few meters back. Confused, they looked on as Muscular crashed down in front of them, with Izuku on top, his hook embedded in Muscular's chest. They realized who had sent them back. Van. Before they could think further, she jumped at them, tackling the blonde villain. About time I get to stab you. I've had my eyes on you for a while now, you little stalker, Vanny yelled. My, we have a feisty one on our hands, huh? But I must say, your brother looks lovely covered in blood, the blonde commented, giggling. While Vanny was occupied with the blonde, Izuku battled Muscular, exchanging blow after blow, each punch creating shockwaves. I must say, kid, I haven't had this much fun in a long time. Muscular shouted as he was pushed back by Izuku. Don't get used to it. After I'm done with you, I'm going after the other villain, Izuku stated, but was interrupted as a punch landed in his abdomen. Gasping for air, Izuku didn't notice his surroundings and was caught off guard by a burst of flames. Panicking, he separated from Euphoria and transformed into Lolbit. Just as he did, Muscular came in and executed a German suplex. That was a close one, got him, Izuku sighed in relief. He teleported in front of Muscular and began barraging him with punches and kicks. Vanny, still dealing with Toga, grabbed her by the neck and choked her unconscious. God, and I thought I was a psychopath, she muttered to herself as she teleported to Izuku's side to help him take down Muscular. As the four Aftons dealt with most of the villains, the UA students and teachers focused on those who remained. William, Ennard, and Michael joined forces to take down Muscular. Izuku emerged from his animatronic form and instructed Ennard to grab onto him. William attacked Muscular with an axe while Vanny stabbed and sliced at him. Michael transformed back from his animatronic form and joined Vanny in the assault. Get out of the way! Izuku shouted as Ennard's wires shot out, piercing Muscular and pinning him down. Izuku lunged forward, tackling Muscular and holding him in place, giving William the opportunity to finish the job. "Oh no!" shouted a villain covered in scars and staples. Now! Izuku commanded. The nightmare animatronics appeared, entrancing every villain and revealing their deepest fears. "Kurogiri, we need to get out of here!" Dabi shouted, rushing to Toga and picking her up. Mr. Compress tried to follow, but Nightmare Goldie reached him first and incapacitated him. Fortunately, it was just one of Twice's doubles. "Izuku, don't!" Yayorozu called after him. But Izuku chased after them, only to be tackled by Vanny, who prevented him from following. "Vanessa, what the hell?" he exclaimed. "Get your head in the game. Now is not the time to chase after them. We'll get them next time they attack," she reassured him. "There may not be a next time," he replied, pushing her off. Walking out of the forest toward the main campsite, Izuku was furious and lost in thought. He snapped back to reality when he bumped into Mandalay, who had Koda behind her. "Sorry for bumping into you, I was deep in thought," Izuku apologized, bowing slightly. "Oh, it's quite all right, midoriya," Mandalay smiled. Suddenly, Glitchtrap appeared, eager to ask Izuku something, but upon seeing Koda, he grinned widely. "Hey kid, do you like violence?" he asked, only to be slapped by Vanny. "Vincent, you can't just approach a kid and say that," she scolded him. Koda hid behind Mandalay, peeking out shyly. "Enough, you two. We have more important matters to attend to," Izuku interrupted, grabbing Glitch and Vanny by the legs and pulling them along. As they walked, Vanny changed into more comfortable clothes, while Glitch returned to William's mind. Once Izuku released Vanny, she transformed into Lolbit and teleported to his classmates. When he appeared before them, he changed back and summoned Euphoria. "Izuku, are you all right?" Chaco asked. He merely glanced at her before turning his attention back to the broken animatronic. "Aizu, please talk to us. We're worried about you," Momo said, stepping closer. But before he could respond, Todoroki interrupted, punching Izuku and glaring at him. "Are you finally back to your senses? If not, I have more where that came from," Todoroki stated. Izuku looked at him and sighed. Summoning a wrench, he focused back on Euphoria. "Thank you, Shoto, I needed that," he said, starting to work on the animatronic. Suddenly, Tsuyu burst out of the woods, looking distressed. Ochako rushed to her, asking what was wrong. "I can't find Bakugo anywhere," Tsuyu cried. Izuku's attention snapped to her, and he teleported to their side. What did you just say? I said I can't find Bakugo, she repeated. Izuku's eyes widened as he realized he couldn't locate the ash-blonde explosion boy. Oh, he shouted, sprinting off to find Aizawa. Izuku, where are you going? I don't run off. Ochako and Momo shouted in unison, but he ignored them. The two girls exchanged worried glances. He's going to do it, isn't he? Ochako said, chuckling nervously. Yes, he's going to do it. Momo replied, shaking her head. Meanwhile, Aizawa was discussing the attack on the training camp with the authorities and other pro-heroes. Shota, he heard someone call, but he brushed it off. Shota, came the voice again. Turning around, he was tackled by his nephew. God damn it, Izuku, he huffed. We don't have time for this. Bakugo is missing, and we can't find him. Izuku, calm down, Aizawa said, but Izuku didn't listen. Terrence! Aizawa shouted, finally getting Izuku's attention. Sorry. I know you don't like being called that, Aizawa apologized. Anyway, what do you mean Bakugo is gone? But before Izuku could respond, the rest of the class arrived, surrounding them. Some of the girls were still trying to calm Tsuyu. So he really is missing. Aizawa murmured. Please, Mr. Aizawa, we need to save him, Tsuyu pleaded. All right then. You heard her. One of my students has been kidnapped by the League of Villains, and we need to get him back. Aizawa declared, and the other pro-heroes prepared to act, ensuring the students returned safely to UA. On the bus, Jiro reassured Tsuchan, it's going to be okay. Curiosity sparked among the girls. But I must ask, why are you so concerned about him? Tsuchan hesitated, stuttering. Why yeah? The girls leaned in eager for more. Bakugo and I are dating, she confessed, blushing. The revelation sent a wave of excitement through the group. The boys, however, remained indifferent to the commotion. Meanwhile, two friends, Ochako Uraraka and Momo Yayorozu, sat awkwardly next to each other, stealing glances. When their eyes met, the tension grew. We need to talk, Momo said. Why yeah? Ochako replied. I know you like Izuku a lot. Momo continued, trailing off. I also know you've had a crush on him for a while now. Surprised, Ochako admitted. Yes, I do have a crush on him. But I didn't want to get in your way. You've known each other longer. Tears welled in her eyes. Momo hugged her tightly. I fell for him after the entrance exam, and it only grew stronger every time he did something heroic. I noticed after the third or fourth week, Momo said. I figured it out since I saw how you looked at him. She smiled. I talked with Izuku about it, and we concluded that we could share him. Ochako stared at her, wide-eyed. You really mean it? Of course, Ochako. We've known each other since the start of the school year. I'm sure we both love him enough, so why not share? Momo smiled back. Ochako returned the smile and tightened their hug. Suddenly, they were interrupted. You two done yet? Vanessa chimed in, chuckling. Way to ruin the moment, Momo complained. Vanessa teased, I advise you not to get too freaky right away. The two rolled their eyes. Very funny. How about you stop making out with Michael, and then we can talk about that? Uraraka smirked, causing Vanessa to blush deeply. Meanwhile, Izuku was lost in his thoughts, occupied by Lolbit, who was glitching and bored. Frustrated, he shouted, God, Lolbit. The others turned to him, silencing their chatter. Can you bother someone else? It's starting to me off. Terry, honey, please calm down, Clara said, appearing beside him. No, he is annoying me. Izuku replied angrily. Lolbit, come here a second. Clara smiled and Lolbit, knowing Ball Aura could be intimidating, shyly approached. Lolbit, do you mind keeping it down a bit? Otherwise, I'll ask William to recalibrate your programming. Why $3B4L0RA? Lolbit agreed nervously and returned to Izuku's mind, quieting down. Finally, some peace and quiet. Thanks, Clara, he said with a smile. She smiled back and vanished, while the others giggled at his antics. My, Izuku, you need to relax a bit, Momo and Ochako comforted him. Arriving at UA, classes 1A and 1B were greeted by the press, bombarding them with questions. It was overwhelming for Midoriya, who just wanted to go home and rest. Euphoria, creation, he shouted, causing both classes to back away, aware of his frustration. Ochako and Momo exchanged worried glances. As they entered the school grounds, they were met by their parents and Principal Nizu. Each student was confused by the luggage their parents carried. Nizu addressed everyone. Due to the recent villain attacks, we've decided to place our students in dormitories for their safety. This will help prevent any further incidents, as all teachers will be on school grounds. The classes nodded in agreement. After explaining the building layout, Class 1A was led to their dormitory. Okay, you problem children, you heard Nizu explain the layout. Here's the plan for who will share a floor. Except for Izuku and Momo, they're getting special treatment because they're inseparable. You'll start living in the dorms as soon as Bakugo is rescued. Hagakure raised her hand, asking when the pros would be deployed to save him. Aizawa explained that the pros involved were currently in a meeting. Forget it, Izuku said suddenly, drawing everyone's attention. They were curious about his plans, but to Aizawa's disappointment, he teleported away. God damn it. The sleep-deprived teacher muttered under his breath as he rushed out of the dormitory. I'm going to confront him when he gets back here. Momo shook her head in disappointment, while Ochako patted her back reassuringly. There, I'm sure Izuku isn't going to take extreme measures. At the LOV hideout, Shigaraki leaned in with a smirk. So how about it, kid? Join us and we'll help you achieve your life goal. Bakugo stood against the wall, contemplating his escape. To his surprise, he recognized Izuku's outcast demeanor and smirked to himself. Well, the offer sounds tempting, I'll give you that. But not tempting enough. Suddenly, Izuku jumped out of the shadows and tackled Toga, immobilizing her. Bakugo began shooting explosions to cover Izuku's back and create some distance from the villains. Euphoria! Creation! The greenette shouted, and animatronics started to appear behind him. The villains began to back off, except for Shigaraki, who rushed at Izuku, intent on taking him down. However, he was halted as a hook appeared in front of him. Shigaraki took a couple of steps back, horrified by the creatures standing before him. The animatronic was as tall as Euphoria and Creation, with 4 arms. Its upper right arm ending in a hook and its upper left arm in a claw. Well, say hello to Jack-O-Lantern, Midoriya grinned at the villains. Wow! To be continued.